we do to reflect who we are and what we hope to build. I am proud to announce that starting today, our company is now Meta. We're going to talk about a metaverse. Meta. I thought I was supposed to be the robot. Meta. This could be very positive for our society. Meta. I hope that you will join us. You're going to be able to do almost anything you can imagine. This isn't about spending more time with brains. It's about making the time that we always spend better. We're starting to see a lot of these technologies. Next, there are avatars. And that's how we're going to represent ourselves in the metaverse. All right, perfect. I thought I was supposed to be the robot. You'll see the facial expressions. You get to decide when you want to be with other people. When you want to block someone from appearing in your space, or when you want to take a break and teleport to a private bubble. Meta. We're going to talk about a metaverse. Meta. I thought I was supposed to be the robot. Meta. This could be very positive for our society. Meta. I hope that you will join us. I want to share what we imagine is possible. This is not the way. Too realistic. That's a glimpse of the kinds of experiences that you might have in the metaverse. You're going to really feel like you're there with other people. I'm here! I also want to be upfront about the fact that there's a ton that we just don't know yet. What? So we're going to approach this with humility and openness. Meta. We're going to talk about a metaverse. Meta. I thought I was supposed to be the robot. Meta. This could be very positive for our society. Meta. Then you will join us.
You wherever you are, make it Truth Frequency Radio.
This is not a valid menu option. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, True Seeker. December 7th, 2022, Pearl Harbor Day. And before we get out to your calls, just going to go over some of the headlines from today. We're also going to go back and revisit Pearl Harbor 1941 in light of the code of Gematria. In case you missed it, today Putin says it's getting closer to nuclear war in Russia, Ukraine, and he went on to say that they have the most advanced nuclear weapons in the world and they would be used strategically and it wouldn't endanger others. What a lot of people don't realize is that 1 year ago today, December 7th, 2021, Biden and Putin met to discuss Ukraine. And of course, earlier in the year, Biden had gone to the European Union and warned Putin not to invade Ukraine. Biden put out that warning 201 days after his birthday, and then when they met on Pearl Harbor Day, it was 201 days after the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year had begun. So here we are on the 1 year anniversary, and Putin makes his biggest remark about nuclear weapons yet, where they've been building this narrative more and more ritualistically all year. And don't forget, on the anniversary of Hiroshima, you had the head of the Nuclear Weapons Division at the United Nations talk about the great nuclear threat between Russia and Ukraine. Today, Time magazine also said Volodymyr Zelensky was the person of the year. Of course, once upon a time, Adolf Hitler was also the person of the year. There's been a lot of interesting people who've gotten that title over the years. If I'm not mistaken, Osama, if he didn't get it, he was in the running. But today, of course, it is the 1-year anniversary of Biden and Putin's meeting. It's also this year a day with 61 numerology, and in Gematria, time equals 61. For the record, Time magazine equals 201, like the Jesuit order. Huge number with the ongoing rituals in Russia, Ukraine. In the world of sports, the Bronx Bombers re-signed Aaron Judge, $360 million deal over 9 years. And something that's interesting about the Bronx Bombers making this big signing on the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Remember, this is the same guy, Aaron Judge, who set the home run record. Don't mind the alarm. Again, Aaron Judge, who broke Roger Maris's home run record on Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur has to do with judgment and atonement for your sins. He also broke Babe Ruth's home run record some years back on Yom Kippur. Again, a lot of big rituals with Aaron Judge. But one of the biggest to date was when Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens died. We talked about how it was 81 days after Aaron Judge's birthday, and there's a whole lot more to that story, but we were talking about the significance of 81 then, because Supreme Court Justice equals 81, so does ritual. This ritual with Aaron Judge comes on the 81-year anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and when you write out Pearl Harbor Day, it also has Gematria of 81, but yes, the Yankees are known as the Bronx Bombers. We also had the latest Walmart mass shooting today. Remember, the last one was on the anniversary of the JFK assassination, now on the anniversary of another fateful day in American history, another Walmart shooting. Walmart has that Gematria 47, which is the 15th prime number. Today's 15 days after the 11/22 Chesapeake, Virginia shooting. It's also in Marietta, Georgia, which has been the home of a bunch of curious psychological operations, including the loud music shooting from nearly a decade ago now. But yes, another Walmart shooting. And of course, yesterday, Joe Biden said he wasn't that worried about the border, which set up for today's story about the border agent killed at the border, who just happened to be 38 years old. Of course, in Gematria, death, murder, killing, RIP, they all equal 38. At the beginning of the week, Kirstie Alley dead 38 days before her birthday. Very familiar number when it comes to death in the headlines is 38. And of course, this is the story Fox News is running with all day. Also, a curious headline in the news. 2 men, one a Holocaust survivor descendant, indicted in a connection to threatening to attack a New York synagogue. One of them, his surname is Marr. He's the one that's of the Holocaust. He's the descendant of the Holocaust survivor. Part of me wonders if he's related to Bill Maher, but it says they were arrested on November 19th. Of course, that's the day leaving 42 days left in the year. In Gematria, Holocaust equals 42, as does synagogue, as does World War. Of course, the Holocaust began in 1942. They like to bring up these kind of stories, especially around the Hanukkah Christmas time. This is usually when Hollywood puts out a new movie on the Holocaust. Anyhow, Elon Musk today was briefly surpassed, according to Forbes, as the world's richest man by the CEO of Louis Vuitton. And what a day for another richest man in the world, headlined by the numbers. Louis Vuitton in Gematria equals 127, like today is 12/7/127. And it's 277 days after the CEO of Louis Vuitton's birthday, born March 5th. That's the 59th prime number, and his name, Bernard Arnault, has Gematria 59. Also, history was made yesterday. The youngest black mayor in the history of the United States at age 18. Of course, in Gematria, race equals 18, and that is the focus of the story. The youngest black mayor in the history of the U.S. in the town of Earl, Arkansas, population 1,300. Also, just because I missed this, but it came to my attention, we did talk about, back on October 12th, why on that day Alex Jones was ordered to pay nearly $1 billion to the Sandy Hook families. Something I did not catch wind of is that Robbie Parker, he's the parent who was caught laughing after the mass shooting before he went on TV and got into game face, but he was ordered to be paid $120 million, which is curious because in Gematria, Robbie Parker equals 120. And they said the jury had to deliberate for 15 hours. Again, when you add 1 through 15 together, it equals 120. He was the highest paid parent, and of course he was also the most famous parent from the Sandy Hook shooting because of the laugh. But just think about that. 15 hours, 120 million. Remember, the word Illuminati equals 120, and the Illuminati was established on the first day of the 5th month, 1-5, by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. And of course, the Jesuits operate in 112 countries, and Sandy Hook equals 112, and Adam Lanza, they had to report, weighed 112 pounds, in addition to him being born on the 112th day of the year. Similar to how this verdict was on the date 1012, having that 112 sequence in it. But before we go to the calls, what I really want to go back and revisit is Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941, and just show you the pattern that happened that day that's connected to 9/11, which they call the new Pearl Harbor, which is connected right up to Russia-Ukraine, with these big headlines coming today out of Russia-Ukraine. It's a very persistent pattern. It had everything to do with COVID-19. But anyhow, Pearl Harbor, the base, the port that was attacked, it was first established in 1887. That was 54 years before 1941. 54 years earlier. And the attack came 54 days before FDR's January 30th birthday, who was the sitting president at the time. Of course, in Gematria, Jesuit order equals 54. And the word sun also equals 54. The Jesuit logo is the sun. Who attacked Pearl Harbor? The Japanese, whose flag is the sun. And the emperor of Japan at the time was Hirohito, also known as Emperor Showa. And there's something interesting about both names. But first notice that from his birthday, April 29th, which is the 119th day of the year, remember they called they called 9/11 the new Pearl Harbor, and there was a whole lot of 119 in the date, the 11th day of the 9th month, where we ended up killing Osama 119 weeks from Obama taking office. But anyhow, the attack on Pearl Harbor was 222 days after the Emperor of Japan's birthday. And in Gematria, the phrase order out of chaos equals 222. When you run the alphabetic order the other way, order out of chaos equals 183. And Pearl Harbor also equals 183. When you run Pearl Harbor the other way, and when I say the other way, I just mean running the alphabetic order forwards and in reverse. So A would be 1, Z would be 26, and the other cipher, Z would be 1, A would be 26, back and forth. A is 1 to Z is 26, Z is 1 to A is 26, forwards, backwards. Pearl Harbor has Gematria 183. When you run it the other way, it equals 114. Hirohito equals 114, so does World War, so does Art of War. And when you run it the other way, Hirohito equals 102, so does World War, so does Art of War. And again, 9/11, they said the attack lasted 102 minutes. Al-Qaeda equals 102. Operation Amalgam Virgo, the simulation of the 9/11 attack, was 102 days earlier. And the name of the simulation equals 119. Remember, Russia went into Ukraine on February 22nd, and then Biden addressed the nation at 2:22 p.m. sharp. And that was 102 weeks after the COVID pandemic was declared. And they said COVID was the first or the worst pandemic since Spanish flu, which came out of World War I, 102 years earlier. And Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline, the two most sued companies in the history of the world, they just happened to merge exactly 102 weeks before their vaccine for COVID got approved. There's a lot more of all of this. These numbers have been all over all of these operations. Remember, the day the pandemic was declared was exactly 222 months after 9/11, which took place in New York, New York. And New York in Gematria equals 222. New York alone equals 111, like 9/11 left 111 days left in the year. And remember, Trump, the Jesuit, was in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum, who did the Event 201 simulation the day that COVID was confirmed in the U.S., and that was 222 days after Trump's birthday, shaking hands with the Jesuit Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum, which also equals 222. But again, these number patterns are all over all the biggest events in American history, world history, events that have changed the world, events that have resulted in the deaths of countless lives. Again, Hirohito has the World War and Art of War connection. Emperor Showa, which is the same person, these are his two titles. Emperor Showa, when used numerology, equals 66 and 60, just like Pearl Harbor equals 66 and 60. And consider that Pearl Harbor was synced up with FDR's 60th birthday, coming 54 days before his 60th birthday, when Jesuit order equals 54 and order equals 60. And again, 54 years after the base was established. And the funny thing about FDR being the president, Roosevelt, go back and listen to Teddy Roosevelt's speech from much earlier in history, where Teddy Roosevelt specifically said, we have to take Hawaii for military strategic purposes if we want to preserve the white race. Teddy Roosevelt gave a speech about how the Asians would take over the world if we didn't control that area for military purposes. Also, again, December 7th, 12/7, like 127. 9/11, the new Pearl Harbor, where kamikaze pilots flew into the towers, so we were told, kind of like the Japanese kamikaze pilots who supposedly flew into Pearl Harbor. But buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell in New York. 1, 2, 7. A lot like the date December 7th. 1, 2, 7. And remember, 127 is the 31st prime. 31's the 11th prime. 11's the master number. These are master plans. For some more parallels, Hawaii has gematria of 39, like New York, like war. Attack Hawaii. We're into World War II. Attack New York. We're into 20 years of war in the Middle East. But isn't it amazing? All throughout history, the same exact patterns over and over. Pearl Harbor Day does also have gematria of 144, like Jesuit order, like President Biden, who met with Putin last year on this day. Again, President Biden, it was simulated at Jesuit Georgetown 144 days before the election that he would win, and Trump would refuse to step down, which would lead to deadly violence in America. But again, same patterns all throughout history, all pointing back to the Jesuits. And sadly, the same patterns will persist as the same type of false flag operations continue to unfold to further bring about the New World Order, which at this point seems to be a pretty old, well, and established order that's gaining greater control over humanity day by day. And again, you guys, you go back and you listen to what Janet Napolitano was talking about in 2013 as she left the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, She was talking about Russia or North Korea doing a cyber attack or some kind of attack that would take down our power grid. It wasn't a matter of if, only when. At the beginning of this year, on February 27th, 60 Minutes did a special on how a cyber attack or how snipers could take down the power grid. And, of course, we just had the story about the gunfire that took down the power grid in North Carolina over the weekend. They said it was a town of, or an area, a county, Moore County, an area of 40,000 people that were impacted. Relatively small population compared to America. But the thing about them saying it was 40,000, that's interesting because it was 40 weeks after the 60 Minutes special on how the grid could be taken down with snipers shooting power stations. And in Gematria, United States equals 40. So does mathematics. 40 weeks after the 60 Minutes special. The 60 Minutes special was on the 58th day of the year. The word power equals 58. The news story of the power grid going down in North Carolina came on the 58 date numerology. Again, persistent patterns, rituals, news media foreshadowing what's to come. If you guys go to my old website, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com, and go to my oldest post, which is from October of 2013, I wrote about Janet Napolitano talking about the power grid going down and all the predictive programming that had come out in recent times, from the NBC show Revolution to a book written by Newt Gingrich and more, focused on a power outage that's nationwide that starts in the Carolinas. And then we got this story this weekend out of the Carolinas, days before Putin's nuclear threat, where Napolitano said this is one of the ways the grid could be taken down. A nuclear bomb detonated above the United States of America that would be an EMP blast. Again, you guys have heard the world elite talking about how we need to reduce population. There'd be no better way to do it. There'd be no faster and more efficient way than the grid going down, especially in winter. Chow down, my love. Enjoy. Sweet lady's getting to enjoy a nice dinner right now. Yours truly is enjoying doing the show. All right, let's go out to the callers. First, shout out to Natural Law and the Occult. They chipped in a nice $20 super chat. I do appreciate that. I will read the super chats at the end of the show. I do appreciate the generosity. Also, shout out to Divine Lion who chipped in $5. I do appreciate it. But right now, let's use this time to get some calls in. Get in a couple calls here before the break. And then we'll hear from Rambo, which is always a treat. 201, excuse me. 845 area code, 845. 845. 845 going once. All right. All right, let's see if 201 is just trolling again. Is it the troll at 201 or is it somebody else? 201, you're wrong.
No, it's me, Zach. I'm not really ready for what I have to say. So can you come back to me later, like at 11:30 or so?
Okay, you got it. All right, let's go out to 865. 865, what's going on?
Hey, Zach, thanks for taking my call.
Welcome.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Zach. Oh, I just wanted to touch on something with you. I wanted to issue a correction on one of your posts.
Okay, what's the correction?
Just before I get into that, I'm not like a critic or anything. I do truly support the work. And
okay, just instead of wasting airtime, if you call and say you have a correction, say what the correction is. We don't need to hear all this other wasted airtime. Get to the point.
Okay. It's on your it's really old, but it's on your Shinzo Abe post. If you wanted to pull that up, I don't know if you want to look.
Shinzo Abe, the assassination over the summer, big Jesuit ritual. What's the mistake?
If you watch the bottom video you had posted, where it looks like the gunman is being warned back from the protection, that's actually after he's already been shot, and it's just someone with the camera.
How can you confirm that that's true?
I watched a couple different angles on like BitChute, and you can see, if you watch a couple different angles, you'll see that there's no one up against the guardrail while he's giving the speech. And then after he's been shot, there's people surrounding the guardrail, like taking pictures, video recording him. And you can see a man in orange shirt down on the ground helping Abe. And then in between a lady, you can see the guy come up with the camera, and then the serviceman backs him away.
Okay. Hey, do me a favor. I would love to check out that footage, and I'll take a look at it as well. If you could email me the footage you have at GematriaEffectNews@gmail.com, that'd be great. What else did you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to give you another 201. The word spellbinding backwards is 201. And I was just curious when your book was going to come out.
Well, I'm debating on what book to put out next, the bigger one I've been writing or the children's version book, because, again, it's like I feel like I've written two pretty good books, but they haven't been, not that many people have checked them out, so I'm thinking maybe the children's book's a better idea. Maybe that would be more appealing to people, shorter with pictures. So
I feel you. Can you give me your email address one more time?
It's GematriaEffectNews@gmail.com. All right, appreciate the call. Thank you. And please do send that footage. I'll check it out. Thank you.
Yes, bye.
All right, let's go out to North Carolina. What's up, North Carolina?
Hey, what's going on, bud? You okay today?
I'm doing all right. What's going on?
Nothing much. This your boy D-Program. I've just been thinking about a few things, man, and wanted to confirm some of the stuff you was talking about, and I'm starting to realize why it's kind of hard for the people to grasp. Not saying grasp because it's easy to grasp. Why there's so much in denial is actually because of the human psyche, and what they're doing with their mind control programs is they keep you focused on one thing. So once you hear something else, it's almost like an automatic rejection in your brain. You almost can't help but to try to reject it. And it's really based upon because of religion. I'll be honest with you. It's really because of religion. All this defies what they believe in religion. And I think that's why it's kind of hard. And it's hard for them to accept that the people that they believe in the most is the ones that's doing this to them.
Yeah, I would say it's all the conditioning from a young age, from the state, from religion, from the authorities, from the classroom. They got us early, and a lot of people can't break the mind control. So.
Yeah, and that's all I wanted. I was just saying, I've been trying to study the human psyche and starting to realize what the repetitiveness does to them. And it's just a bunch of repeating various lies, and the people can't see past them. And that's one of the biggest problems. But to try to deny the numbers is almost detaching yourself from reality. So that's why I say I don't even argue people with these numbers anymore. I say if I can keep doing this number, then it's not a coincidence. So just quit doing it. There's no use in talking like that. You can only trick yourself, and that's what they do. They have you tricking yourself because they don't want to believe it. So.
Yeah.
That's all. I just want to, I'm just listening. I'm really on here for rap.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back, everybody. It was good?
Almost gone.
You ate it all?
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
No.
I didn't have any yet.
There's some left.
Well, thank you. What do you want to tell the truth seekers?
Well, I had a good day, that's all.
That's nice. That's nice.
Good day. I'm safe.
Very good.
Tenderloin in San Francisco. What an experience. If you just spend a day there and walk the streets where those lonely walk and go eat where they eat and listen to some of those stories, you come away with more of a sense of value. Because the true values of life come by the contrast. And unless you experience more of the contrast, even the values you consider valuable become a bit shallow if you don't understand the contrast. It's hard to really appreciate winning until you've done some losing. And if you've done some failing, success now becomes a much larger worth and value and commodity if you understand a bit of the other side. So part of this is just deliberately go where experiences beyond your own touch your life to get somewhat of an education as to the contrast of life and the differences. It'll educate your mind and educate your spirit. And sure enough, that extra worth will start showing up in your sentences And your words, they'll be weightier, they'll be heavier, they'll mean more when you talk to somebody.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state. Manifest new and exciting experiences. Re-energize your life and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
True initiation is an inward journey. It's a spiritual path that is totally inward. It has nothing to do with anything external to you.
I want to determine if the Grand Architect is indeed what I believe it to be, which is the artificial intelligence.
The initiatory path is one of self-discovery and self-revealing. It's not a journey that someone can hold your hand through.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you through the steps of initiation. Remember, you are divinity.
Step Beyond the Veil with Chris and Sherry Geo. Fridays and Saturdays, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker, and let me see if this is Rambo. New York?
Hello?
Is this Rambo?
Yeah.
Okay, different number tonight. What's going on?
Yeah, this number, I have all sorts of phone problems. The other one was very crappy, the one I used to use, and this one cuts up. So if it cuts off, I'll have to call back on the line. I mean, that's the way it's been going.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had several conversations the last week where it just cuts off all of a sudden, this number. The other number is really faint and crackly. I don't know if that's just what, that's just what's going on. But, yeah, hopefully this will stay on.
Okay, just so you know, the call's a little bit broken up. Trying to.
So maybe I'll call the other line isn't clear. Maybe I should call the other one and just try to deal with that one.
Yeah, give it a shot. I'll stand by. We'll wait for your call. Everybody's ready to hear. So yeah, give us a call back, Rambo. All right, thank you. Okay, while Rambo gives us a call back, let's go out to 772. 772. Well, looks like they're also away from the phone, and Rambo's already called back in, so let's go to him and see how this is. All right, let's give it a shot, Rambo. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me? It's really crackly. I can hardly hear anything.
Well, you can pretend like you got your own helicopter. Yeah, that's pretty rough. trying to think what to do. Rambo? Oh, man, I'm trying to think how to troubleshoot this problem here. Well, there, you got rid of the beds. That's better. There we go.
You can hear me?
Yeah?
Okay, I'll go with this. I mean, it's, I don't know. This is just what's happening. I can't say why it's happening. I don't know, but it's happening. I have two different phones, and they both have issues. So, okay, well, the title of my presentation today is Battle of the Three Kings. History and war coding in the 2022 World Cup. So yes, although this decode is about the World Cup and soccer, even if you're not into sports or soccer specifically, this has to do a lot more. This has a lot more to do than just sports. It's like I do with most of my decodes. I explain how there's always a larger overarching narrative to just that one. Nothing's just a ritual unto itself. It's always part of a broader narrative, and a lot of them have to do with ancient, very ancient in origin, and are related to just all facets of life. So the 2022 World Cup, the World Cup is very significant because there are very few, if any, others. This might be the event where the largest percentage of the world's population's focus and energy is concentrated in one place. And when that happens, that's prime for ritual magic. Even Aleister Crowley said magic is more powerful the more people that witness it, and they don't have to know that they're witnessing the magic. So the more witnesses makes the magic stronger. So the World Cup, if that's the case, then the World Cup is the number one. All we can do is speculate what is the intent of the magician. But so nonetheless, the World Cup is going on right now. Well, like I said, it's much more than the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is big in America. There's some interest in Britain, but it doesn't have anywhere near the global importance. But the Super Bowl is significant as well. It's one of the most, literally a high holy day, as Madonna referred to it as, which she meant it literally, the Super Bowl. But the World Cup is bigger. And so one of the themes, there are multiple themes going on. I've talked about the birth theme. Anyone's seen my videos, but and what we've talked about, like multiple people have talked about, is not just in the World Cup. Overall, we have the Ukraine, Russia war going on. War is a theme. In the United States, civil war. I mean, I don't know if they mean it, probably not literally, but the Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative divide is being stoked and exacerbated because there's a civil war theme in the United States. And the United States is experiencing its Pluto return in astrology. That means the planet Pluto, which is extremely powerful in astrology, it has the outermost orbit, and it has returned to its location, its astrological location that it had in 1776 on July 4th, and that is hugely significant in astrology. So the Pluto return is a big part of this. And they've coded I've talked about the other things they've coded into the World Cup, like the War of Independence was against Great Britain. So the United States World Cup team was drawn into, there are 32 teams, they're drawn into 8 groups of 4, while the United States in their group of 4 had not one but 2 British teams. They were drawn with Wales and Britain. Yeah, when the United States having its Pluto return and Queen Elizabeth dies, then you see this colonial theme based on the Pluto return. It's not a coincidence that you have, the United States and 2 British teams in a 4-team group. So this is part of what they've coded into it. And so colonization is a big part of this. So after qualifying for the second round, so the United States made it out of the first round, and they're now into the second round. The second round is a knockout stage. And that's the round of 16. It's the final 16. This is just one single game elimination. Well, the United States were eliminated, but not just to anyone. And this is the esoteric astrological coding they put into this, the United States in the final 16 were drawn against Netherlands. Now, why Netherlands? Which is also called Holland, but it's Netherlands. And Netherlands was called Nether because Nether means lower. The Nether, regions is because the country of Holland or Netherlands is below sea level, so it's Nether, it's below. Now, who is in mythology, who is the god of the nether world, the underworld? It's Pluto. Pluto is the god of the underworld, of the nether world. So in the year of the United States Pluto return, after facing their colonizers, now they face the team from the netherworld, which is ruled by Pluto. See, this is how, this is what they do. This is, I guess it's clever or whatever. It's for some theme, but that's why they faced the Netherlands, because they are coding in Pluto, because it's the Pluto return. Pluto's a god of the underworld, the nether world. And there's also a lion theme. Now, lion themes are not just this year. Lion is just a popular symbol because lions denote top of the food chain, rulership, power, strength, pride, all those things. But this year, the lion is just more significant in the wake of the death of Queen Elizabeth II. But in general, it's always a theme. Like, just so many countries have the lion as a symbol. So, I mean, that in itself may not be that remarkable. But so one of the teams is the Netherlands, who just defeated the United States. They, too, have a lion as a symbol on their badge. And they beat the United States 3-1. And one of their biggest stars is he's named Memphis Depay. Now, Memphis is his first name. Usually on the back of your jersey, an athlete puts their last name. He puts his first name on the back of his jersey. He's known as Memphis. And he plays for the Netherlands, who knocked out the United States. And he scored. And he's significant because, so the lion is also symbolic of royalty. The lion is the king of the beasts. And, the Lion King. The lion is royalty. It's the king. And I don't have it here, but this Memphis Depay, he identifies not just as a member of the Dutch team who used the lion as a symbol. He has lion tattoos all over. I think he has his lion tattoos on his calf and lion tattoos on his back, and he identifies with lions heavily. And so he's a lion symbol. But his name, Memphis, is significant. And again, it's his first name. Usually you don't put your first name on the back of your jersey, you put your last name, but he identifies with this. Well, in the United States has a Memphis, so he's playing against the United States. Well, the United States has a Memphis, and what is Memphis, which is Memphis, Tennessee, in the United States, most known for, and that is the death of a king. So it's a king symbol. It's Martin Luther King, because he died in Memphis. So Memphis scores against the United States with a team that has the king of the beasts force badge from the Netherlands, from the underworld, nether world, which is ruled by Pluto. While the United States have its Pluto return. And so that's the ritual that they're doing. So going back to the 1776 theme, when the United States gained, having its Pluto return from when it gained independence, 1776, I talked about this last week, 1776 days before England played the United States in the first round of the World Cup, was January 14th, 2018, 1776 days before that, and that saw the death of former England international Cyril Regis, and that's his name, Regis. It comes from Latin regis, which means king. So that's been the theme. It's no coincidence that it was 1776 days before England played the United States. It's just amazing how this all works out. And so the big story at the World Cup this year, it's the underdog story. So the World Cup is now at the final 8 stage. There are only 8 teams left. There were 32, now there are 8. It's the final 8. And there's one team that it's not, clearly not one of the top 8 teams in the world, and it's an upset story, Cinderella, and that is the country of Morocco in North Africa. Morocco on the northwest of Africa. To the west of Morocco is the Atlantic Ocean, and to the north is the Mediterranean Sea, and that's the shortest gap between 2 continents. To the north of Morocco is Spain, and it's just very historical in mythology too. It's the Straits of Gibraltar between Morocco and Spain is, in mythology, they say that's where Hercules separated the 2 continents. So in mythology, Hercules pushed 2 land masses apart, and that created the Strait of Gibraltar. So Morocco has a lot of even mythological importance. Well, they're the Cinderella team this year. And a lot of their Cinderella story also has to do with this colonial war theme. And so these are some facts about Morocco that not many Americans are aware of, but Morocco is very significant, specifically to American history. And I've shown some links to some articles, but there's plenty, but I just gave a few examples. And another thing in Morocco is they go with the lion theme as well. Morocco's national team is called the Atlas Lions. There's another lion team, and again, the lion team's always been there. Everybody just loves lions, but it's more significant this year with the royalty theme with Queen Elizabeth. It's really prevalent. But they're lions of the Atlas Mountains, and they're in the final 8. Now, why Morocco is so significant to the United States is that Morocco was the very first country in the world to acknowledge the United States as a sovereign, independent country. When the United States first got independence, most countries around the world felt that they didn't have a right to be independent and that they should be, they actually were committing a violation by rejecting Britain. So the United States was not recognized by the powers around the world, across Europe. They just weren't. They said you still have a right to be legitimate. You can't just... The one country that did was Morocco, the Kingdom of Morocco in northwest Africa. And so I'll just give some historical context. This is from, you can get, there's a lot of information. This is one example. Peoplesworld.org is where I got this. This is a quote. On December 20th, 1777, the Kingdom of Morocco became the first country in the world to recognize the United States independence, only a year and a half after the U.S. Declaration of Independence was issued. The War of Independence was still in progress, and the result was still far from certain. Thomas Barclay, the American consul in France, arrived in Morocco in 1786. There he negotiated the Moroccan-American Treaty of Friendship, which was signed later that year in Europe by John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Under Sultan Mohammed III, Morocco became at once the first Arab state, the first African state, and the first Muslim state to sign a treaty with the United States. Congress ratified the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the two nations in 1787. Renegotiated in 1836, the treaty is still in force. That's in 2022. It's still in force, constituting the longest unbroken treaty relationship in United States history. So a lot of people are not aware of this in America. Morocco has a unique relationship with the United States. It's very unique, it's very intimate, and it goes back a very long time. And there's a civil war theme. We've talked about the Civil War. All sorts of wars are, being coded. Well, during the United States Civil War, Morocco backed the United States government, the U.S. Union, against the Confederacy. So this is also from that article. quote, in 1863, the King of Morocco released an official order stating, quote, the Confederate States of America are fighting the government to whom we are in friendship and good relations. If any vessel of the so-called Confederate States enters your port, you shall not be received, but you must order it away on pain of seizure, and you will act on this subject in cooperation with the United States. So this is the depth of the intimate relation Morocco has with the United States. So the Moroccan city of Tangier, which is right in the very north of Morocco, you can actually see Spain, you can see Europe, because the Straits of Gibraltar, that's the thinnest, that's the closest, smallest gap between two continents. If you're in the north of Morocco, in the city of Tangier, you can literally see across, and you can see Spain. And in some cases, you can actually see Portugal. Portugal's a little farther, you can see Portugal too. Well, Tangier, Morocco is home to the oldest U.S. diplomatic property in the world. And it is now a museum. The Tangier American Legation Museum is also the only building outside of the United States that is now a National Historic Landmark. So every American National Historic Landmark is in the United States. There's only one American National Historic Landmark that is outside the United States, and it is in Morocco. So again, this is all to emphasize the relation between the United States and Morocco. It's not that many people are aware of it, but it's very intimate. And one group of people who are aware of it are Freemasons. And this is relevant. It's sort of off the topic, but it is relevant. It's only somewhat off the topic. So it is a question, why is this Morocco of all places? That's not on the continent of America. It is on Freemasons. And part of the reason is because the United States was founded by Freemasons, and there is this, some say a legend, and Freemasons believe it's not a legend, that its actual history is of the ancient kingdom of Atlantis. The Atlantic Ocean is named after the kingdom of Atlantis. The city of Atlanta is named after it, but many people think it's just mythology. Freemasons and others who are not Freemasons believe, no, it was an actual place, an ancient, advanced city that was destroyed. And they dispute what destroyed it. But it was seen as this kind of like a utopia, this ideal place that used to exist, and a lot of Western secret societies, like the Freemasons, the Jesuits as well. I mean, they've infiltrated Freemasons, but Jesuits definitely have their version. They have belief in the Atlantean story, legend. So many believe, and a lot of Freemasons believe, that the location of Atlantis was close to Morocco. It was in that area, you know, the Mediterranean, between the Straits of Gibraltar, or on the southern part of Morocco, Mauritania. They have something called the Richat structure. I mean, not even all Freemasons agree. The location of Atlantis, even for people who believe it existed, it's not agreed upon. That's just a debate. You can, you know, if that's something that interests you, like, that's what I like to do, just look at the different theories. But looking at the way Freemasons, how they act, and their iconography and their rituals in the United States government, it seems that a lot of them are settling on it's near Morocco, and Morocco is, and you can see how much they venerate Morocco, and I think, and it's why they have such an intimate relationship. It is because of Atlantis. And I think there's a general acceptance that Morocco is in that region. I mean, there's no proof this is just a conspiracy theory. I think it's a theory. I believe the Kingdom of Morocco has physical evidence because they just seem so sure of it. There's been a lot of Atlantis coding. So, in the United States, when it was founded as a new Atlantis. That's one of the things it was supposed to be, so kind of. And so Morocco's national team, they're called the Atlas Lions. Now, Atlas is the king of Atlantis. Atlantis was established by Poseidon. And Poseidon, in a Roman version of Poseidon, is Neptune. And you know what the symbol is? I've talked on and on about Neptune and that symbolism. Well, that's who founded Atlantis. That is son of Atlas, and they're called the Atlas Lions. So a lot of the success of Morocco in the World Cup, and it's all stage, it's all theater. Of course, they're not in the top 8 in the world. They're not even in the top 16. They're not even in the top 20 in the world. Somehow they're in the final 8. This is Freemason, slash Jesuit secret society stagecraft, and it's based on multiple things. I'll talk about the lion theme, royalty theme. Atlantis is a big part of this, and so is the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is related to Atlantis through Rihanna. I've talked about Rihanna. Atlantis was founded by Neptune. The symbol of Neptune is a trident. Neptune rules Pisces. Rihanna's a Pisces. And her home country of Barbados has on its flag the trident of Neptune. I mean, Rihanna is she's an Atlantean symbol. And she just gave birth to a mysterious son. No one's seen pictures. Celebrities, you want to see the celebrity birth pictures eventually. I mean, if not right away, within a few weeks, within a month or two. There's no name, there's no picture, no nothing. But she gave birth to this son, which was the most celebrated pregnancy of a celebrity outside of royalty. And now we never seen the kid. They just told it was a male born on May 13th, 2022. But symbolically, I believe that Rihanna's son is supposed to represent Atlas, who is the son of Poseidon. Because she has such an Atlantean thing. I can go more and more. I mean, I've done so much on Rihanna. But, so the Super Bowl, and she will be the halftime performer. And I did predict this. I mean, not to, it's just that, just to demonstrate that the validity there is to this. But just looking at her symbolism, it just made sense to me that she would be the most likely, I didn't say she would be, I said she would be the most appropriate performer for the halftime show. And then 3 months later, the NFL did announce that it was her. But I just say that because it's important to emphasize that if there is validity when I talk about all this Rihanna symbolism, it was very easy because I've done more work on Rihanna than any other celebrity because of her significance. And that's why you saw the Super Bowl just had Rihanna written all over it. And so the Super Bowl is February 12th, or 12th February, that's 2/12 or 12/2, 2/12 or 1/22, it's written. But in the Jewish or Latin side for English, Gematria, Atlas. I mean, Atlas is the king of Atlantis. Atlas is 2 and 2. Which, I mean, when Rihanna does her performance, I mean, I just don't see how there's not a water theme. I mean, if not the whole performance, there has to be a water theme. She's all about water. I mean, everything about Atlantis is Atlantic. It's watery. I cannot see anything other than a water. There might be other things in addition. There has to be water. I mean, you can almost guarantee take it to the bank. When you see her symbolism, it has to be water, has to be the theme, a big part of that halftime show. So, so Atlas is 2/12, like the date of the Super Bowl, and then in the same cipher, Monarch is 2/12. And I've talked about this several times, how 3 months after she allegedly gave birth, she sported a T-shirt that said "Birth of a Prince." And again, she's referring to the son that so the implication is she gave birth to a prince. Her son is a prince. And I know what the symbol is. The prince is referring to Atlas. That's going with the symbolism.
Quick commercial break. We'll be right back, everybody.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord. COVID-19, 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 COVID-19. I blow the wind of God from the state of Washington to the state of Maine to Brownsville, Texas, and the tip of Florida. Today, we speak to this atmosphere. Today, burn this thing. This virus hates heat. You just burn this thing. Burn, burn. I call for a supernatural heat wave straight out of hell. Burn, burn. COVID-19, 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 COVID-19. I blow the wind of God. You don't do it. You don't do it. You don't do it. You get out of here now. Burn. You don't do it. You don't do it. You don't do it. You get out of here. Burn this thing. COVID-19, 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 COVID-19. I blow the wind of God. You are destroyed forever, and you will never be back.
What the fuck, bro?
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, True Seeker. We got Rambo with us, and he's got the floor.
Yeah, so there's just the royalty theme, the lion theme, other themes I've talked about. Then there's the battle of the three kings. And the war theme, that's part of the war theme. Now, the Morocco I've talked about, this is a very intimate partner of the United States, unbeknownst to most Americans. And again, it has to do with Freemasonry. So Morocco in the final 8 will play against Portugal. Portugal, one of the best teams in the world. Portugal is one of the top 8 teams. And they will now play Morocco. Now this is another coding and a reference to history and war and the royalty theme, because in history, Morocco and Portugal were involved in what is known as the Battle of the Three Kings. This is perfectly fitting for the World Cup. It was arranged for them to play each other, most likely. I don't think this just happened organically, given that this has been a prevailing theme. War, I mean, the United States bringing that War of 1812, Revolutionary War, and former colonies playing against the former colonizers. We talked about that. Well, it's the same thing with Morocco and Portugal, because Portugal attempted to colonize Morocco and engaged in what was called the Battle of the Three Kings. This was in 1578, the year 1578. And Morocco defeated Portugal. Now, the reason they call it the Battle of the Three Kings is because Morocco had a king that was deposed. And so he allied with the Portuguese king to fight against the standing Moroccan king to colonize Morocco in 1578. But Morocco, the Moroccan king, won the battle. And this again goes along with the watery theme, because both the Moroccan king, who was victorious, and the Portuguese king both drowned in the war. It was mostly a naval battle more than anything else. And the Moroccan king goes on the victorious side, and they both drowned in the process. So again, this water theme is very strong. But the Battle of the Three Kings, again, not well known in history. Well, FIFA, the governing body of world football, they do know aware about this history, which is why we have this matchup. This is stagecraft, this is theater, and this is ritual. And so, just like the U.S. played a former colonizer, Morocco is playing as former colonizer. So Morocco is just a big part of this. I don't know how, I'm not predicting how far they'll take Morocco. Most people think this should be the end of the road. If it wasn't fixed, Portugal should win quite comfortably, but who knows what the ritual is.
I just got to point out that battle was 444 years ago, all fours, and the winner will advance to the final four. So.
Oh, that 444, that's a huge ritual number, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jay-Z didn't he have an album or a song, 444?
An album, yeah, because again, in Sumerian Gematria, rapper is 444, so is Masonic, occult, killing, etc.
This is all very Masonic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the governing body of world football, FIFA, it's called the FIFA World Cup. It stands for Federation of International Football Associations. I mean, they're purely Masonic. I mean, I don't know, everything's Masonic. Of course, the Jesuits infiltrated Freemasonry through the Illuminati. So from the day of the game, which is December 10th, which is Friday, Morocco versus Portugal, they're reenacting the former Portugal didn't actually colonize. They attempted to colonize and failed. They were defeated, but that's what they're reenacting. This is the war theme. The Battle of the Three Kings is being reenacted on December 10th. So from December 10th to the next anniversary of the Battle of the Three Kings, because it happened on August 4th in 1578. So the next anniversary of the Battle of the Three Kings is August 4th, 2023. Well, from this game to the next anniversary, August 4th, is 237 days. 237 is a hugely significant date. I even brought it up last week because it is the date, 237 is 23rd July. 23rd July is the date on which ancient Rome held its annual celebration day of Neptune, the god Neptune, after which the planet Neptune is named. And I just explained the significance of Neptune and the trident, how it rules Pisces, and reacts of Pisces, and Barbados has the trident symbol. And I can go more in depth on that. Even Britain has a female symbol of its naval superiority, an empire, a female called Britannia, and Britannia holds a trident. Well, I think it's 2021. In Britain, the Royal Mint released a gold coin showing Britannia, the symbol of British naval superiority, who holds the trident. well, it showed Britannia as a woman of color. And of course, shortly after that, you had Barbados removed Queen Elizabeth as their sovereign. She was no longer sovereign, so the Queen and the royalty was demoted. Barbados used to be under the crown, and on that very same day, which was November 30th, 2021, Rihanna was honored as a national hero in Barbados, and symbolically, Rihanna was being promoted while the Queen was being demoted. And then in this year, 2022, Queen Elizabeth got COVID, coronavirus, crown virus, on Rihanna's birthday. So it seems like Rihanna's being moved up while the Queen is being moved down. It's almost like Rihanna's a curse to her. And then when they released Britannia as a woman of color, I believe they were referring that Britannia is actually referring to Rihanna. She's a major symbol here. And again, that's the trident, that's Neptune, and Neptunalia was the 23rd of July. So that was a naval battle. This battle of the Frequency was naval. The two of the kings died. They drowned. And so 237 is not a coincidence. And the previous king of Morocco, which is the father of the current king, in 1999 he died. Of course, it's not at the level of Queen Elizabeth as far as global attention, but it did get a lot of attention. I mean, no one's going to be at the level of Queen Elizabeth. And that's King Hassan II. He died in 1999. He died on Neptunalia. This is very Masonic. Another huge Freemason symbol is Haile Selassie, the former emperor of Ethiopia, because Freemasons believe that King Solomon is a historical figure and that Haile Selassie is a direct descendant of King Solomon. And one of the reasons they feel is an indication of the specialness of Selassie was his birthday, which is 23rd of July, July 23rd. And this also coincides with the heliacal rising of Sirius, and I like to use that date for that. But it's this is so Masonic. I mean, if you're familiar with the significant dates of Freemasons and symbolism, Atlantis, it's all Masonic. It's just purely Masonic. But yeah, well, the former king of Morocco died on Neptunalia. And again, Neptune, whose Poseidon established Atlantis, which they believe was in Morocco. And I mean, if it did exist, I believe the Moroccan royalty have physical evidence. If it does, they have it, because the United States and Morocco are super, super, super close. They've been since day one, super intimate. It's because of Freemasons, because the United States has Freemasonry, and it has to do with Atlantis. So yeah, this is the 23rd July. So yeah, during the break, I was able to get these pictures. I quickly downloaded the pictures of, this is Memphis, the player Memphis, I said, who scored against the United States. He plays for Netherlands. Again, Netherlands, Netherworld, who's the god of the Netherworld's Pluto. That's why they have the U.S. play, Netherlands. But so Memphis, like in Memphis, a reference to a king. Memphis, Tennessee, that's where King died, Martin Luther King. And while yes, the whole national team does wear the lion symbol, he specifically is a uniquely, somebody who's uniquely coded with the lion. Like this is the extent to which it goes. Look at this tattoo on his back. I mean, if someone's not, what is that? Sorry, I thought you said. Did you say something?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought I heard something. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, so this is how, and a lot of times this is not necessarily his decision. So for a lot of these people, they're made symbols of. Sometimes they understand it. Sometimes they don't. Maybe they understand partially, and they're made to do it. And I don't know. It's not necessarily. Maybe it is, but it's not necessarily his decision. And they even had him pose with actual live lions. There he is holding a lion cub. And so that's Memphis. Think about what Memphis means to the United States. It's the place where the king died. What's the lion? It's the king of the beasts. So I talked about the battle of the three kings. Well, if the lion is the king of the beasts, then three kings is three lions. And three lions is the symbol on the badge of England, the three lions. This is a British national symbol. It's also a symbol on the coat of arms of Queen Elizabeth as well. That's the three lions, three kings, the king of the beast. And there's also some symbolism with, since the United States gained independence from Britain, the queen and king of Great Britain at the time of the United States independence was Charlotte, who was married to King George III. And I've always talked about Charlotte's Web, who's the spider Charlotte is most likely named after Queen Charlotte. And in the movie Charlotte's Web, Julia Roberts voiced Charlotte, so Julia Roberts is Charlotte. And then on the very day that Queen Elizabeth died, which is September 8th, 2022, this movie was first released, Ticket to Paris, starring Julia Roberts and George Clooney. Why Julia Roberts? Because she's Charlotte, and she's starring with George, Charlotte and George. Charlotte and George were married on September 8th. So this movie was released on the anniversary of Charlotte marrying George in history. So you had Charlotte, who's Julia Roberts, she was the voice of Charlotte, partnering with George Clooney. That's what they're saying. That's why you September 8th, which is the same day that Queen Elizabeth died.
Is that the day it premiered, Rambo? Is that the day the movie premiered, September 8th? Because on the movie poster, it says only in theaters October 21st. So I'm guessing the premiere was September 8th?
Yeah, that was the premiere. They say release, that's what Wikipedia uses the word release, but you know how they have that one day where it's the very first public viewing where I guess it's only special people?
Like a premiere,
usually
right?
in some location like like in Venice or some location like Venice or Paris. Or
the funny thing about October 21st, the wide release, is that's the day leaving 71 days left in the year, like Royals 71, like what happened to Diana while the Queen was 71.
Yeah, and that's Diana's birthday, is July 1st.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they had that, why they did September, this is the whole George Charlotte thing. And George Clooney, Clooney is 89, they put it by 89, I just talked about it last week. Clooney in Gematria is 89, like 8 September. And he's connected to Three Kings, this has the theme, because in 1999, he starred in the movie Three Kings. So that's the theme. And there's one last thing to wrap it up. The War of 1812 I talked about is still a theme. In Argentina, who are one of the favorites, they have the flag, which is the same symbol that Jesuits use, the 32 rays of the sun. And the first openly Jesuit Pope is from Argentina. But the Argentine flag was first adopted in 1812, in the year 1812, and the World Cup final is on 1812. The way the rest of the world says the date, 18th December. So again, so that's another war that's themed into all of this. So this is the some of the symbolism and ritual elements, very Masonic, extremely Masonic, that's going into this big spectacle. And it's global. It's the World Cup, and you can see how global even their symbolism is.
Indeed. Yeah, very interesting. The one observation I had about Morocco is this is the first ever World Cup in December. It's going to end one day after the Pope turns 86, who's a big football fan. And just when I look at the Morocco team, I just see that red and green. I'm thinking, those are like the colors associated with Christmas, December. Morocco's the Cinderella story. Have you thought about that at all, Rambo? This being the first World Cup in December?
Yeah, I think, for me personally, I think it has to do with Sirius. I don't know if you remember what I explained last week. So this is the time of year when Earth moves closest to the star Sirius, and Sirius is this sacred star. It's been sacred since ancient times, not just ancient Egypt, but even civilization before that. And so they've done it. I don't know why. I can't say why they picked this year, but the reason it's being done in December, why that's so significant, is because this is a time when Earth is closest to the star Sirius. And looking at where I know all this went into the location of the World Cup and the time of year of the World Cup. Because the World Cup final, it's also the same for the third place game. The third place game will be on the Pope's birthday on the 17th. And then the final will be on the 18th, which is Saturday and Sunday. Both games will start at 6 p.m. local time. At 6 p.m. local time for both games, especially the final, because that's the big finale. The star Sirius will be, when I say it's on the eastern horizon, I mean it will be perfectly placed. I mean, it can't be more perfect. I mean, it's obvious, it's too perfect. They had to have measured this out. Like, we need to be in this part of the world, because you can't have, the World Cup final has to be on a Sunday for one thing. And it can be in the morning. I mean, so it has to be at a reasonable time, but it has to be on a Sunday at a realistic time. And this is perfect. Sirius at kickoff time will be precisely dead center, perfectly on the eastern horizon. And in astrology, rising energy is the most powerful energy. And that's where Sirius will be. It is, and it's just also, and we also have to be at the time of year when Earth is closest to Sirius. So this whole December thing is based on the sacred star Sirius. They also talk about the 237. It is Neptunalia, but it's also the day that Freemasons honor the heliacal rising of Sirius, 23rd July. So that's why they had it this time of year. But I can't say why they're doing this big Sirius ritual now, as opposed to other times. But that's December, and only in summer. World Cup is always in summer. This is just an exception. They have to use the excuse that it's so super hot, and it is. It's just unbearably hot that you can't play competitive sports in summer in Qatar. It can only be done in winter. Well, it's all about Sirius. This was done as ritual based on the veneration of, and so we can ask, what is Sirius? It's more than just a ball of gas. I'll put it that way. Let's say stars and balls of gas. Sirius is more than just the Sirius A, Sirius B. It's two stars, actually, a binary star, but still, they're not just. Astronomers will say, they're just balls of gas. That will clearly not. I don't know. I can't say exactly what it is. It's way more to Sirius than the shiny balls of gas. That's for sure.
Sure. Just for other World Cup news, the USA got eliminated 1-3, 13 days after Biden's birthday. And Argentina was the last team for the final 16 teams. And again, the Jesuits were created in the 16th century. The manager's born on the 16th of May for Argentina. And again, the Pope's from Argentina. That game over Australia was 201 days after the manager's birthday on the third day of the 12th month. And again, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201 and 312 as his team becomes the last 16 match winner. So it's been full of ritual.
Yeah. It's chock full. I mean, it goes deeper than this. I'm sure if honestly, to understand what's going on in the world, you need people with deeper knowledge of various mystery traditions, to really understand the depth of it.
What about Pele? Did you notice what they did with Pele?
They keep going back and forth, like, he's doing better. No, he's in end-of-life care. No, he's doing better. They're going kind of back and forth with him.
Yeah. The day that the headline came that he was on his deathbed was 41 days after his birthday, and then Brazil ended up winning their next match 4-1, and in Gematria, World Cup equals 41, and this year's World Cup began on November 20th, Biden's birthday, the day leaving 41 days left in the year, which again is the 13th prime, and then the USA, the land of 13 stripes, is eliminated 1-3, 13 days after his birthday. The championship, Brazil is the favorite. It's interesting that the championship would be 56 days after Pele's birthday. And the day that he was on his deathbed was also 15 days before his upcoming birthday when Pele equals 15. He did just begin his 83rd year of life, the big football number. But yeah, I just found it interesting how he was on his deathbed 41 days after his birthday, international headlines, and then Brazil won their next game 4-1 when World Cup is 41. So.
Yeah, also, they've also quoted this volcano because Kilauea, what's one of the biggest volcanoes in the world, Hawaii goes off, but Pele is the name of the Hawaiian volcano goddess. So, what, I don't know how can they control volcanoes, but just at the time, there's the World Cup, that's the Pele's known for. He's kind of like the king, he's kind of considered like a king of soccer, and he has the same name as the volcano goddess, and the volcano goes off. It's like one of the biggest in the world. So that's another, I don't know how they coordinate that, but that's another part of the coding they've done with Pele.
Sure. Another recent death of a big football star is Diego Maradona. His name equals 107. Next week will be 107 weeks after his death, which is interesting. So,
yeah. I also have this purple theory. I pointed out that in 2001, when the Baltimore Ravens won their first Super Bowl, there was a purple grand slam in all four. They had the Colorado Avalanche in hockey, the Lakers in basketball, the Diamondbacks in baseball, and I think there might be a purple theme because purple is a royalty color based on Queen Elizabeth, and nothing's been decided yet, but purple teams have been doing quite well. And I think some teams have worn maybe shades of purple before, but Argentina decided to wear purple for their change strip, their away shirt. And from what I've seen from purple, which seems to be, look at Texas Christian out of nowhere. Texas Christian is not a powerhouse in NCAA. Well, all of a sudden they're wearing purple and they're like a juggernaut in the NCAAs. You have like Phoenix Suns are leading the West in the NBA. Vikings are doing awesome. And suddenly, Argentina pops up with a purple jersey. So I've been looking at purple this year. I don't know if it'll necessarily win it, but purple might at least, it'll give you a great season. Texas is working for Texas Christian, and they were undefeated. They finally lost to Kansas State. They finally lost to a team that wears purple. So that's one thing I'm looking at with Argentina, is that purple theme.
very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, Argentina, they won it in 86. The championship's the day after the Pope's 86th birthday. We'll see. So,
yep.
We'll see. All right, Rambo, any other thoughts?
No, there is, I have other decodes coming up because there's so much to the World Cup. And I just like to thank the people who responded to my video. I think I can see that my videos get a high comment ratio. If you look at the ratio of views and subscribers to comment ratio, mine is very high. So I just like to thank everybody who comments on my video. I get really high rates. I'm almost at the point where I just can't respond to everybody anymore. There's so many. But I really appreciate it. I just like to say that.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear. I'm glad they're not taking away the comments from your channel. I can't keep the comments on my videos. You'll click on it, it'll say like there's 20 comments, and you can see like 3 of them. So.
No, they actually are taking them away. So this is they do. There are people constantly complaining that their comments are erased, and so this is even with that happening. Yeah, they're doing that as well.
Well,
that's some people are hanging in there. Like they'll post, it'll be erased, they'll post, and they'll just keep reposting. They'll so yeah, I'm just thankful for that. But yeah, they're doing that there as well.
Very cool. For all the people out there not subscribed to Rambo, his channel is The Truth Codes. His videos are very good, and he's almost to 7K. If you guys want to help him get there, he's almost there. So.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Of course. All right, well, we're coming up on the commercial break. Again, while we're on the break, maybe hop over to Rambo's channel, give him a sub, help him hit 7K tonight, and you won't regret it. All right, Rambo, you have a good night. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right.
Take care. All right, the commercial music should start any second. There it is. Be right back, everybody.
It's easy to sit on the edge of your bed and to think, there are things I'm doing, there are things I'm not doing, that I should be doing, that I could and would do. Small things. But you can start to improve your life incrementally by eliminating those things that are self-evidently making you bitter and miserable. But you have to decide that that's what you want. You're willing to burn off that dead wood, to sacrifice that bitterness and that unhappiness, even though you may feel that you're justified in in harboring it. You may even be justified in harboring it because people have very hard lives and sometimes they're very badly mistreated. You need to think it's okay if things improve. And it would be worthwhile for me to start to abandon those things that I'm doing that I know to be harmful to myself.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Gio, founder of Truth Frequency Radio and host of Beyond the Veil. The mainstream media and establishment are running scared right now, and they've prominently featured truthfrequencyradio.com as number 89 on the federal government's hit list, also known as the fake news list, which is essentially a list of sites slated for censorship on Facebook, YouTube, Google, and other social media. Now is the time for you to get involved. Share your favorite TFR shows far and wide on forums and social media. Tell your friends and family about your favorite shows. If you're a business owner, get in touch with us to feature your product or service right here on TFR. And if you haven't done so already, become a TFR supporter now and get unlimited commercial-free downloads in high quality. Visit truthfrequencyradio.com/sign-up. Thank you for making TFR the leader in independent and uncensored talk radio. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
True initiation is an inward journey. It's a spiritual path that is totally inward. It has nothing to do with anything external to you.
I want to determine if the Grand Architect is indeed what I believe it to be, which is the artificial intelligence.
The initiatory path is one of self-discovery and self-revealing. It's not a journey that someone can hold your hand through.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you through the steps of initiation. Remember, you are divinity.
Step Beyond the Veil with Chris and Sherry Gio. Fridays and Saturdays, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
No hate, no hype, no fear. Real people, real radio.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. We got an hour and a half of show left. We're going to take your calls the rest of the way. Again, if you can keep your call to one great question, one great thought or idea, that would be good because we got about 15 people on hold at the moment. There'll probably be more callers. Let's go out to George. George, you're up first. What's going on, George?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Zach. How are you doing this evening?
Doing well. How are you?
Great. Thank you. Well, I guess there's no technical way of saying Happy Pearl Harbor Day. But yes, I know you brought that up earlier. Okay, so you said 1 point. You said you would like us to make 1 point?
What? That might just whatever's on your mind, George.
Okay, I'll be quick. A couple things. I know the last few days you've done videos on Kirstie Alley, who's probably best known as Rebecca on Cheers, as well as Christy McVie, one of the female singers and keyboardist from Fleetwood Mac. Okay, couple of things. Did you earlier this year, Michelle Nichols, who played Uhura on the TV show, the Star Trek, in several films, she died. Well, Kirstie Alley was also in that film. Did you know that? Or I'm sorry, the 1982 film Wrath of Khan.
Yes, and somebody made a point about the director and his connection to Scientology and how it was synced up with. Here, I'll get somebody's comment since you just brought that up about Star Trek. So their comment is almost all the way correct because he wrote it was her first movie. It's actually not. She was in one movie before Star Trek 2, but she played Lieutenant Saavik. And the name of that character equals 184 in Gematria, and she died 184 days from the film's release anniversary of June 4th. And Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek, was friends with L. Ron Hubbard, who, of course, founded Scientology. So, what was your additional thought to that,
Okay,
George?
so, well, I don't have much other than Scientology was a OSS/CIA creation. L. Ron Hubbard was U.S. Office of Naval Intelligence, and Roddenberry was Army Air Corps or Army Air Force. What they called it before that became the U.S. Air Force. And it was also, Roddenberry was also a high-level Freemason. Now, as I said, 2 of the 3 female stars died from the film Wrath of Khan died this year. The other one died way back in 1996. I forgot her name, but yeah, so you said people have addressed it. Now, Kirstie Alley was unusual in that she grew up Protestant. She was a Methodist. Also, Michelle Nichols grew up Presbyterian, as I believe she was still practicing. So this is unusual because the original TV series Star Trek was mostly Catholic and Jewish. You had James Doonan, who was Presbyterian, and he divorced Kelly, his father was a Baptist minister, but everybody else on the show was either Jewish or Catholic. Now, George Takei, who's still alive, was Japanese Buddhist, but he went to University of Sophia in Japan. And I know I'm going all over the board, or all over the place. I'm cold. It's cold where I am. So anyhow, I know you already did a deco on Kirstie Alley.
Yeah, I just kept it real simple. I mean, I'm always making the point about celebrity death in 38 and that she died 38 days before her birthday. And, just the other day you had the Fleetwood Mac singer die while Stevie Nicks is 74. In this case, Ted Danson's 74. Again, those numbers 38 and 74 are continuously connected to death and killing. So.
Okay, so now I know that Kirstie Alley has struggled with her weight and also with cancer for years. So, and of course, I don't know if she had undergone a certain medical treatment.
That's the thing too. That's the thing too. Her death's reported from cancer. Cancer does have Gematria 26, like her surname Alley, and she died on the day, leaving 26 days left in the year.
Okay, so I've gone a bit long. Can I just mention one last thing?
Go ahead, George.
Have you ever heard of something called the Two Ocean Navy Act?
I don't think so.
Okay, the authors of it were the Massachusetts Senator David Ignatius Walsh, and the Senator, I believe, from Nebraska, Carl Vinson, or Nebraska or Iowa, so somewhere in the Midwest. I'm not online right now. So what this did, this was was passed in July of 1940. So it increased the size of the U.S. Navy.
Passed on the 201st day of the leap year.
Okay. So Walsh was Irish Roman Catholic. He went to Holy Cross. He was the first Catholic governor of Massachusetts and the first Catholic senator from Massachusetts. He never married. I don't have, he lived from 1872 to 1947. I don't have his precise date. So also, in addition to greatly expanding the budget for the Navy, it moved the U.S. Pacific Fleet from San Diego, California to the Hawaiian Islands, several thousand miles closer to Japan. Had it been in Southern California, it would have been impossible for the Japanese to bomb the fleet and make it and have enough fuel to return to Japan. So you want to talk some? You want to talk about some genitude between Pearl Harbor and that event. So I just thought I'd share that factor. And could I just share one other piece of trivia with you?
Before you do, I just want to make the point that Carl Vinson's part of this Two Ocean Navy Act, and that's who the boat was named after that Osama bin Laden's body was dumped out to sea on. Okay, what's the one last thing, George?
Oh, okay. So something you brought up, at least one of your books, and several times, how the year 1968 was a big year for the agenda, such as the construction of the World Trade Center began, the Club of Rome was established. Also in that year, Paul Ehrlich, who was a professor, a science professor at Stanford, wrote the book, or published the book called The Population Bomb. Now, Ehrlich was born on May the 29th, 1932. I do have that memorized. And he was Jewish, don't mean to cast aspersions. And the book is actually 201 pages long. I don't have the release date. I'm sure you can probably find that. Now, as I said, he was Jewish, but he has spoken at the Catholic Pontifical Academy of Sciences at least twice, in 2015 and 2017. I don't have the dates for that. So, according to this tome, when the world's population was 3.5 billion in the years in 1968, there were too many people on the planet. Therefore, we're going to have massive famines. We're going to have all sorts of catastrophes. So why would they choose the book to be 201 pages long? Why not just 200 pages?
Yeah, good question. I think we know why.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for allowing me to bend your ear for a few minutes.
Okay, always appreciate it, George. Interesting information as always. Thank you.
Okay, well, have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, George. And as you guys can see on the screen, this morning, one of CNN's lead stories had to start with the Navy, right? It's the anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and then it had to do with Iran, part of the axis of evil, and then a boat with a big old 68 on it. Again, you guys, I wish more people retain the information I taught on this channel about how we're ruled over by stories and psychological operations with the same numbers always in front of our face. It really is just so simple to learn and grasp, and then just observe and see how it plays out day after day after day. Remember on the anniversary of the Titanic sinking, we had the story about how Russian Navy vessels sank. I mean, just all of this stuff every day, you guys. Stories to control our minds. And think about it. That's what it's always been from the beginning. Here's a book. This is the book of the true religion. Here's a story for you to believe in. Here's some his story for you to believe in. Stories upon stories. Books and numbers. Okay, let's go out to California. 831, you're on. Eight three one, out for a nap. Let's go out to 347. You're on 347. Hello? Uh-oh.
Come back to me after 11.
Okay, I'll be back. All right, let's go out to 803. South Carolina, 803.
Who's that?
Hello?
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I wanted to call. I know you heard of Adam Weishaupt, founder of the Illuminati.
Okay.
Do you know what the original name of the original name given to the Illuminati?
Do I know what about the original name of the Illuminati?
What the original name of the Illuminati was?
I've heard different things before. Tell me what you know.
It was called the Perfectibilis. Perfect, IBILISTS. Perfectibilis. That was the original name given to the Illuminati by Adam Weishaupt. and you should check out this book. It's called The Perfectibilis, the 18th Century Bavarian Order of the Illuminati. It's by Terry Melanson. And it's one of the few books that use translated references to Illuminati in English, because the original Illuminati documents were in French and German.
Okay, yeah, I'm aware of this book.
Okay, because they were saying that Adam Weishaupt, he was educated by the Jesuits, but they said he wasn't necessarily one himself, because in fact he sort of despised the Jesuits, because I guess when he first became a layman in 1773, that was the same year the Jesuits were suppressed by the Pope, and he was able to occupy the chair of canon law. That was a position held by Jesuits within the last 90 years. And there were some Jesuits that were protesting against his nomination. So I thought that was interesting. Because he did model the Order of the Illuminati by the Jesuits, even though they're saying he despised them. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I've heard that before, but again, you look at the history, and then to me, it's like that to me, that's the misinformation they put out there, right? Raised by a Jesuit professor, and then he supposedly despises them, yet does everything the way they do, and then the same legacy that, he did everything by the same code they still work by today. So I've heard that before, and I kind of shrug at that and say, well, it looks like that's the misinformation.
Possible. But the author was saying that the original documents for the Illuminati were in French and German. So the original documents is one of the few that were transferred into English. So
sure. Again, the Jesuits are from France. He studied in Bavaria, Germany. So.
Yeah, well, and I think the guy named Samuel Morse. He did say the Jesuits was sort of like a secret society. What's his name? Samuel Morse. So he did say, I forgot what he did, but I heard a guy said the Jesuits was sort of like a secret society. So
sure,
interesting.
Sure. All right. Well, good recommendation. Yeah, if people want to check out that book, it has been recommended to me before. It's one I still need to check out as well. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, I have one more thing.
Okay.
Oh, you said that video for Kanye West and Clarence Gilliard, you said that video got you struck?
Well, I showed that it did, right?
Yeah. Do you still have that video on StreamYard?
I have it downloaded. I have it saved.
Okay. Yeah, you could try to upload it on BitChute or Odyssey. Maybe they won't.
It's already backed up on Odyssey. My stuff's backed up on Odyssey. It's over there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Let's go out to 818. What's up, 818?
Hi, it's me. I'm calling you to first. I'll talk about Pearl Harbor, and I'm bringing it all to Jack Kennedy. I'm going to wrap it all up with the Idaho murders, and as well as Ted Cruz and Kirstie Alley. This all is related to JFK and that 1122 that started off in Idaho on the house on Kings Road. So JFK was first assigned to the Office of Naval Intelligence in Washington, D.C., and that is where he was when Japan struck Pearl Harbor on December 7th. He was quickly moved to South Carolina in January of 1942 because he was having an affair with a Danish woman who was friendly with high-ranking Nazis. The reason this is important is the Danish queen just downsized the royal family. She's the third cousin of Queen Elizabeth, and her son, who his two young children lost their prince and princess titles, is now moving to Washington, D.C. So we're now having a bunch of royals move into the United States. Then we had William and Kate come and visit on 11/30, which in my mind is an encoded 33, because I just do 11 times 3, which is a 33, like the 11/22 added together is 33. But they only came for 3 days. And then the last day was for their awards show, and it was all green dress. Kate was wearing a green dress. So that's important when we go to the Idaho murders, because in the Idaho murders, they're constantly talking about Kaylee Goncalves, which is a Portuguese name. This all goes into Rambo with the Sirius star, because there's dogs mentioned. She had a dog, and the dog looks like a poodle, but it's a mini, like Labradoodle. But Jackie Kennedy was always known to have a poodle. So it's interesting. Her middle name is Jade. Kaylee means a crown or a laurel. So her name literally means a crown. She's killed on Kings Road. Her middle name is Jade, which is the color of royalty. It's a stone that royals have.
It's green.
And then her last name,
It's green.
Yes, it's a green stone. It can be pink and it can be other colors, but it's traditionally shown in green. So it goes with the green of Kate, William and Kate. And also it goes to the Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith thing in January, because that's kind of what was being thrown at us, was all this jade. But there's tons of football players with the last name Goncalves, or however you pronounce that. Just Brazilian football. Like, I just was looking it up while Rambo was talking, and it was like Brazilian footballer, Portuguese footballer. It's a Portuguese name, and I thought that was interesting. Sorry, I'm trying to go through my pictures. So her dog was named Murphy, which means sea warrior, which goes to all of the sea imagery that Rambo was also discussing. So we have like Sirius and the sea all in that dog, who survived the attack. All the police are always saying that they searched the dog for evidence. There was none on him. He's now safe. He's a safe dog. But there was another dog that was thrown into the Idaho murder that wasn't safe. It was filleted. So that was part of the dog story going on with that Idaho state murder thing. Did you hear those stories?
I've heard a little bit about that, yeah.
So we have the dogs, and then now we're going to go over to Kirstie Alley. Kirstie Alley is known for playing in Cheers with Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson, his dad, was most likely one of the 3 tramps on the grassy knoll at the JFK assassination. He was a hitman. He was in jail for being a hitman. He assassinated a federal judge. He did say he killed JFK, and there were 3 of them. The interesting thing is his name is Charles, and 2 of the 3 tramps were named Charles. One of them was named Chauncey, and the name Chauncey means gambling or chance. So if you almost think that there had been 2 King Charles, and then the third one was a gamble or a chance, because you wouldn't know if he would make it to be king in 1963. I don't know. I'm just supposing maybe there's something to do with that, because we have so much going on with the number 3. Then Ted Cruz's dad has been associated with Lee Harvey Oswald, and Trump, when he was running for election, even called out Ted Cruz's dad as being involved with Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, today, Ted Cruz's daughter, we're told she tried to stab herself, slash herself, commit suicide with a knife, and her name is Caroline, which means Charles, and that was also the name of JFK's daughter, Caroline Kennedy, but it was also the name of JFK Jr.'s wife, Caroline Bessette. So we have the name Charles there in those stories. And Ted Cruz is related to JFK. So I think the Kirstie Alley dying the night before or 2 nights before the story about Ted Cruz is interesting. Also, that Kaylee Goncalves girl, the story is, she got her Range Rover. She was going to go travel to Europe, and she got a job in Texas. So Texas is, the home ground zero for the JFK assassination. It's where Ted Cruz is a senator from. So Texas is also a part of this, and it's also where they do a lot of the launchings for the space stuff, if you want to bring in space to Texas. And then, let me see really quick, I'm sorry. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. The Jacks. So I was the one who called it all the Jacks, and I found out there's even more Jacks. So the guy, one of the boyfriends was named Jack, another one of the boyfriends was named Jake. A friend, the murdered boy Ethan, had just sent money to his friend Jack the night that he was murdered. And then the hoodie kid is named Jack. So there's multiple Jacks in this story. I've never seen so many Jacks, to be quite honest. There's just like Jacks everywhere, all over this. And the hoodie guy is very interesting because they've disclosed his name, in some threads. I won't say it, but he was an avid hunter. There's pictures of him with animals, and he's supposedly in Africa now, like out of the country, which I can't confirm it, but it would be interesting if he was, because that's also related to royal family. As far as I'm concerned, you see a lot of Africa in their, travels. That's where they go. And just the Carolines were everywhere. Let me see. I'm going through all these names. All the names of everybody also they're all European names. The kids that were killed, and hold on, I'm just Xana. The girl Xana, her name means goddess Diana.
I see.
That's her. It's huh?
I see. Interesting. Well, are you posting all this information somewhere?
No, I don't. I just call you.
I think you should start posting it somewhere. I think it's time for your own YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is just me getting tired today. This all, for the 2 hours I was waiting, this is what I did.
Yeah, you're good at research.
So anyways, that's it for my 2 cents. But I can see the Sirius all over this, and I can see the sea themes that Rambo's talking about. He helps me a lot. He spurs my mind. I listen to him, and you too, of course. The numbers. I don't know much about the numbers, but I can put the patterns together.
Yeah, indeed. You're very good at the research. I appreciate it. And maybe think about posting it somewhere.
Okay. Well, you guys have a good night.
All right.
I look forward to listening to the rest of the show.
Okay. Thank you. You have a good night as well.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Take care. And congratulations to the shark. The shark earned some of that money back he invested in the community for the weekend of 9/11. If you guys weren't with us in New York, Shark was out there buying everybody water, ponchos to stay dry. It was raining on September 11th, but tonight he used that Gematria knowledge. Some people are always coming here and saying, can I win the lottery with this information? Well, Shark became the latest member of the community to prove that you can. He knew it was Pearl Harbor Day. He knows 9/11 is the new Pearl Harbor. He played the numbers 911 in the local lottery tonight. The winning number was 119, but I don't know lottery. He said he boxed the number 911, so he wins on it backwards, 119. He said that paid $400. I'm imagining had he put in 119, it would have paid even more. And just to remind, that 119 number is huge with 9/11. Again, Operation Amalgam Virgo equals 119. Again, Bin Laden. Reported dead 119 weeks from Obama taking office, Osama Obama. Did I say it wrong the first time? Did I say Obama reported dead? I meant to say Osama if I did. Hey, hold on, you guys. Commercial. We'll be right back.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from
When I say climate change, what do you think of? Blah, blah, blah. There is no planet B. There is no planet blah. Blah, 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 blah. We can no longer let the people in power decide. Blah, blah, blah. Did you hear me? What do we want? Blah, blah, blah. But it starts with blah. When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah. This is always here. What do we want? Blah, blah, blah. What do you think of? They say blah. When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. This is all we hear from our so-called leaders. Words that sound great, but just look at the numbers. We can no longer let the people in power decide. What do you think? It's not blah, blah, blah. Of course, we need constructive dialogue, but they now have 30 years of blah, blah, blah. They invite therapeutic young people to meetings like this to pretend that they are listening. This is not about some expensive, politically correct green act. Blah, blah, blah. There is no planet B. There is no planet blah. Build back better. Blah, blah, blah. The economy. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Did you hear me? What do we want? Blah, blah, blah. But it starts with blah. When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah. This is all we hear. What do we want? Blah, blah, blah. What do you think of? They say blah. When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Fighting climate change calls for innovation, cooperation. They say they want solutions, and they're not holding leaders accountable for their action, or rather inaction. Blah, blah. We need to walk the talk. Blah, 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 blah. If this is what they consider to be climate action, then we don't want it. Blah, blah, blah. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah. There is no planet B. There is no planet blah. Build back better. Blah, blah, blah. The economy. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Did you hear me? What do we want? Blah, blah, blah. But it starts with blah. When do we want it? Blah, blah, blah.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. As we come back from the break, I'm checking out Amy's blog. It's one of the best Gematria blogs out there, cracktheircode.org. She caught something that I missed. The wife of Marvin Gaye died on December 3rd, Jan Gaye, at the age of 66. And as Amy pointed out, she was featured on his song Gotta Give It Up, which has Gematria of 66. And she also died 121 days before what would have been the anniversary of Marvin Gaye's birthday. And the one thing that I see that I think she missed is the connection between 66 and 121. Both of those numbers have a mathematical connection to 11. If you add 1 through 11 together, it equals 66, and the square root of 121 is 11. And of course, the word black equals 11. And of course, Marvin Gaye was the Prince of Motown, the black record label out of Detroit on the 42nd parallel, and Marvin Gaye born on 4/2. But R.I.P. to Jan Gay. And it's great to have more people doing the work, more sets of eyes, less stories slipping through the cracks. Let's go out to Atlanta, 404, you're on.
Hey, Zach, it's an honor to be talking to you right now, man. I'll be quick so that the other truth seekers can get on the line with you. But I wanted to recommend Brendan Lee O'Connell. I'm not sure if you're aware of his content.
Brandon O'Connell?
But, he's just like... Brendan O'Connell.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm very familiar with who Brandon O'Connell is, yeah. Yeah.
Would you be interested in doing a podcast with him? I think you guys would be unstoppable together because, you guys are both serious about waking people up and getting boots on the ground. And, he's really a fan of flyers and all that sort of stuff. And, I think you guys would be unstoppable together.
I'm more than interested in collaborating. I heard through the grapevine he doesn't care for me, and he also didn't respond to me when I reached out to him years ago. So I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I guess I could try again. So
yeah, I didn't even know about that, man. That sucks. Because I think it's people like you guys that are really serious about boots on the ground and waking people up. You guys need to be united. And so, that sucks that he wasn't interested in it, but I would think he would be. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I'm surprised at all the people that are unwilling to work with me, but it's been quite the trend, so.
Man, well, that's all I wanted to say. I'll get off the line so the other truth seekers can put in their word, but have a good night, man.
Yeah, for people not familiar with Brandon O'Connell, he does do good research. He's big on the Tau Piat program. And once upon a time, I made a video trying to get his attention about Tau Piat and what was behind that name and how it fit in with the long history of Israel. Anyway, appreciate it, 404. You have a good night.
Yep, you too.
All right, take care. All right, let's go out to 347. What's going on, 347?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is now good? Did I come back too early? That was weird. I'll come back again. Something must have been too early. I'll come back again, 347. Let's go out to Michigan. What's up, Michigan? Michigan might just be listening tonight. Sometimes they are. I think it's a just listening night. Let's go out to 201 New Jersey.
Hey, Zach, what's up? When you were talking about Simon and Dan yesterday, I really liked that video. I downloaded it, but you said that he copyright struck your video.
No, it's not him. It's
he
didn't copyright strike my video. Professor Dave Explains did.
Right. Sorry. So I was thinking, because I was telling my dad about it. It's like, just fucking copyright strike him back. It's really scummy when people do that. I've seen other people on YouTube do that whenever somebody critiques them or something like that. But yeah, there's so the golden rule. There's another one that I like too. It's treat others how they've treated you. I like that one too.
Yeah, indeed.
But I'm looking forward to you collaborating with Dane Calloway. It's nice that some people out there stand for truth, especially in the people that are more popular. What would be really cool is he was saying that he has to censor himself a lot and stuff. Yeah, maybe tell him to try and move over a lot of his audience to Odyssey. They need more people over there. I really like Odyssey. It's not like BitChute. I really don't like BitChute, but Odyssey is kind of a big improvement over BitChute and some of the other platforms like Rumble and stuff. It might actually be like a real YouTube competitor. you know, and it has like a lot of just normal content, you know. It's not like BitChute that's just like, you know, Nazis and stuff like that, because I see a lot of that stuff over there. I don't really see any of that on Odyssey. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And one time you were talking about your profile pic, the black and white one. You were saying the story behind it. You want to finish that story? Because I'm curious to hear it.
The one with my arms crossed and my face?
Yeah.
I haven't said what it is.
Yeah.
I said the sweet lady just took the picture when we were out to dinner and just did the like black and white filter on her phone on it.
Yeah, it looks really good. I thought that you you went to like some professional photographer and whatever. I was like, man, that's a really nice picture. I wonder how much you paid to have someone do that.
No, it's just one of those phone filters, and I hardly have any photos. I mean, the last 10 years of my life, I have like almost no photos because I don't do anything besides sit here and decode. So,
yeah. In the comments, I talked earlier about the whole China thing. I've noticed the media hasn't really talked about it too much, but a lot of the protests happened over a couple of fires that happened. One fire happened on November 21st, and it killed 38 people. Fire is 38 in ordinal. And what's funny is that the city that it happened in was that's 47 in the most pure cipher. Also 151 in reverse, just like IHS 36. But what's funny is that that fire also happened on a date with 38-day numerology. And I just thought that was funny. The other fire that happened, which killed 10 people, that happened on a date with, I think, 36 days left in the year. Let me see. Yeah, it was 36 days left in the year, just like the IHS 36. Definitely thought that was interesting too. But that's basically what all these protests are based on. I haven't really seen the media talk about it, but basically the people want to get rid of Xi Jinping. What do you think about the whole thing? Because you said that you had heard about it.
Yeah, it's just everything they report about China and that makes the news, I just take with a grain of salt. I mean, it wasn't that long ago they were showing China on lockdown with the fake, obvious studio screams that you were supposed to believe were people somewhere out in the city. So, it's just hard to know what's real. I mean,
that's interesting. Yeah, that's kind of what I saw too. I saw the same thing. Supposedly they're like sealing people inside their apartments and stuff. You know, I don't know if that's true or not. But
well, remember, I wrote about it in my book.
Apple.
In my book,
What?
supposedly China locked people in their houses for 76 days at the start of the pandemic, and the word tiger 76 is part of what I used to predict that they would end all this phase of the mandate once the year of the tiger rolled around. So, yeah, again, I mean, we're not in China. Everything in the media that they give us about China is propaganda, just like everything else in the media is propaganda. I don't know if there really is an uprising in China against the government or not. I mean, it's possible there is because people are fed up. It's also possible it's a load of BS. People from that part of the world are a lot more obedient of authority, so it would definitely be a changing of the culture if it was true. Yeah,
that's true. One more thing I wanted to tell you was that what should the contestants for the children's book, is there anything that they should draw and send?
Not yet. We can do that once I finish
so you're not
writing.
at that point
yet. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're like not anywhere near that point. Okay, so one thing I wanted to tell you was maybe it's time to move over to Linux on your computer. It's like a free operating system. It's not like Mac OS that it spies on you, and Apple basically like controls your computer. And it comes with a lot of free software. I use it on my computer, and like I have like free video editors. I have OBS. I have basically like a free version of Microsoft Office, except it doesn't spy on you. I have like a Photoshop type thing that's also free. I have a YouTube downloader that I can just download YouTube videos as like either a video or as an MP3 or whatever I want. There's like a huge suite of free software, and it's like really intuitive to use. It's actually really responsive compared to other operating systems like Windows or Mac. And you have like full control over the whole operating system.
Yeah, Linux has always been the best operating system. It's always been the one that's been recommended by people who know things about computers. So I hear that.
Yeah, I'm downloading your website before. You said other people failed at it, but yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. I don't know how big it is, but apparently it said that you had like 100,000 posts on it or something.
No, there was like 30,000 before they started deleting posts. But yeah, nobody's been able to re-upload it because it's too big of a file. So I don't know if it can be done.
Yeah, I'm getting in a terabyte SSD. So I'm gonna if this SSD runs out, then I'm gonna use that one because I'm not gonna stop. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks again, friend. You have a good night.
And if not, okay, you too.
Yeah, take care.
Okay, bye.
All right, let's go into 559. What's up, 559? You're on.
Hey, Zach. Did you mention what's going on with the moon and Mars tonight?
What's going on with the moon and Mars?
There's so Mars is the closest it's been. It's on a 26. Hold on, let me just read you the article. Mars is our second closest planetary neighbor, orbiting the sun every 1.88 Earth years, or 687 days. On December 1st, it hit the point in its orbit around the sun where it is as close to Earth as possible, only 38.6 million miles. This occurs just once every 26 months. And tonight, there's a full moon. They call it a full cold moon, a December moon. But tonight, Mars passed behind the moon, like an eclipse type, but they call it an occultation, like occult, hidden. And that started, I think it started to go behind the moon like right after you started the show, but now it's past the moon now. But yeah, I thought that was interesting because this is like three rare occurrences. They said the full cold moon, Mars being this close, and the occultation of Mars passing behind the moon. And then another thing I wanted to add, I got a couple more 201s. Last week there were two different stories, but they made headlines on all kinds of news outlets. Both these guys were 28 years old, and one was they never specified, they just said an accident in the ocean, and the other guy fell off a cruise ship. Both of them were 28, and the guy off the cruise ship treaded water for 20 hours. The guy in the ocean accident treaded water for 24 hours before they rescued both of them. And this happened within the same month, but they're reporting this all week, pretty much this week. And the name of the first guy was Mason. He was 28 years old. Mason equals 28. And all the articles they wrote about him, they were calling him Miracle Mason because he survived that. But Miracle Mason equals 201. Another 201. I don't know if you ever noticed this, but the phrase "the militia of Jesus" equals 201.
Where's that phrase come from?
Well, I mean, it's similar to, I think I heard a video of Mark Passio talking about it.
Okay. I've never heard that phrase before.
But I also heard I was watching a video of Mark Passio. He was talking about the most hidden knowledge, blah blah blah. I forget it was called the lost principle. The phrase "the lost principle" also equals 201. But I mean, the Jesuits, they're kind of the militia of Jesus.
Sure. Mark Passio's a Jesuit. All right. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was asking Mark Passio if he could promote Oklahoma City earlier this year in his live chat, he was grinning and didn't say anything about it, but then went on about his Jesuit education. He also waited till the 201st episode of his show before he finally answered my call, and that was after like 20 weeks of calling in. And now I look back at that and I think, I wonder if that was an accident. All right, let's go out to 562. What's up, 562? Looks like 562 went to bed. All right, let's go out to Kalamazoo, 269.
I'm here.
You're here. What's going on?
Zach, what's up, dude?
Just doing the show.
I like it.
Glad to hear that. What's on your mind?
A lot. So, I've been a long-time listener, right?
Okay.
So, I'm a little bit concerned about the Jesus blasphemy been going on. You want this call?
What is it?
You want this call?
Do I want this call?
No, you do.
Well, I'm letting you go on. Go ahead. You're concerned about the Jesus blasphemy. Okay, go ahead.
So, I get the story of Jesus. It's a story that's like been transcribed like many times in different ways. So it's a very positive story. Okay?
Okay.
So there's a lot of people in this world who need that story. They need faith.
Well, they say faith is the opiate for the masses. I don't know if they really need it, but I feel like there's other things you could put there, a different story that might be more helpful in this world, rather than the story of waiting and believing and waiting some more and just keep on waiting and believing. I think that story is why we are where we are, like I always say. I think because it's just like when I went to Buffalo. I went there with action to bring knowledge, and pretty much everyone received it. And the only person who was rude to me, two of the most interesting conversations, the only person who was rude to me was a lady of the church, and she told me to shut up because she was praying to Jesus, and it was time to connect with Jesus. And I thought, God, Jesus, I mean, if only she knew the society of Jesus was behind this ritual. And I also had a conversation with a pastor, a very nicely dressed pastor, and he thought it was really interesting information. He was like, wow. I was like, would you share this kind of information with your congregation? He laughed. He said, no, I would never share this. I said, why not? He's like, well, this is the stuff people want to know when they come to church. I was like, yeah, they just want to keep talking about the stories that you got to believe in. He wants to talk about real proof and evidence and facts. That's not what keeps money coming into the plate. So anyway, I don't know that if people really need the story of Jesus. I know it does give some people hope, and they wouldn't have any hope without it, I guess. But you could always give them another story that might inspire hope. I don't know.
Well, I get it, Zach. Hope is not a strategy. But people need something in their life to guide them. I appreciate your work. I do. It just hurts my, it's crazy to think about people, how many people are out there, what are they doing, how are they doing it?
I don't understand your last statement there. Do you think Jesus is coming back to save us?
I'm not going to wait around for that, for sure.
Oh, well, okay.
But I am going to take some pretty good lessons from some of the scriptures in the Bible. I get all the number stuff, like I don't want to lie, I don't want to cheat, and I don't want to steal. Those are like 3 basic tenements to me. So if I can do that, I feel like I'm doing a good job.
Okay, well, I appreciate the thoughts, caller. Thank you for phoning in, and have a good rest of your night. Take care. Okay, I feel like a normal Christian would say that they do believe Jesus is coming back, because that's kind of what the faith teaches. So his response there made me wonder if he's even serious about anything he's saying. Let's go out to 804. What's up, 804? $804?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, not much. This is Jake.
What's
I
up?
posted in the past. I live in the Washington area, D.C. But I was looking forward to you coming on your last trip, but understanding, thought issues you had and everything about why you were in New York.
Yeah.
But would have liked to have caught up with you. When, if you could have came to D.C., but I was serious about putting a bus together. I wanted to take you on a tour of the area. So I've grown up here my whole life, and it's amazing how much symbology and it's freaking crazy being right in the belly of the beast every day. Working, driving, and seeing all this, but I just want to say I was looking forward to you coming, but I hope you do still plan to come this way.
I got to come there. I still haven't been there. I'm super disappointed that I didn't get to finish the trip, and especially make it to D.C. I was looking forward to that. Yeah, I still haven't made it there, so I will be coming back, indeed.
Yeah, awesome, man. When you do, like I say, I'd be willing to get a bus. I could do a tour, and a day's tour, 8 hours. I could take you from George Washington's birthplace in Virginia up to Fredericksburg, to the lodge he was at, participated in, up by Quantico. Just so much history around here. It's pretty cool. And, being by myself, I decode some stuff and notice things and stuff that's been right in front of my face my whole life, but I think you bring a lot to it, and just you do good. You pick up on stuff. You're a pretty smart guy, man. I admire you a lot for that, and I've learned a lot from you. Very appreciative. And when you do make it this way, I will be out there, and I'll pound some payment with you.
Very
appreciate
cool.
all your work, Zach.
I appreciate that a lot. What a great offer. And again, I'm sorry I didn't make it out there on this trip, but I definitely will be there, because I'm still looking forward to the day it happens. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yes, sir. All right, Zach. Take care.
Good night. All right. We got a commercial break, and then we got 30 more minutes of show. We'll take everybody's call when we get back. Sit tight.
Self-motivation. You got to motivate yourself. I found out you can't change people. They can change themselves, but you can't change them. People have to change themselves. Good people are not trained, they're found. So you got to find the right people. That's the key. to getting a good job done. One of the major things we learn in management, lesson 1, don't send your ducks to Eagle School. Because it won't help. I mean, I'm telling you, it won't help, no matter how good your school is. And the little eagle badge and the little eagle hat, I'm telling you, it won't help. It won't help. You can tell whether your school's done any good, right, when it's over, right? The duck goes for his first rabbit and makes him a friend. You say, no, no, no. So it takes self-motivation to really alter your life. And you don't want to give self-motivation away to somebody else and make it somebody else motivating you. The guy says, boy, if somebody just come by and turn me on. What if they don't show up, right? See, you got to have a better plan for your life.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
I was just calling to tell you what a great product you have. I had used this about, 10 years ago after I had congestive heart failure. And it fixed me up and got me going for the last 10 years. Lately, I've been having heart trouble again. So I placed another order because this was the only thing that ever worked. And I just wanted to let you know that you have a great product.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
If there's something you want to achieve, you can achieve any freaking thing you want as long as you know what the goal is. That's why goal posters or goal boards or even just telling someone what your goals are, writing them down is so important, because once you can identify your goal, it makes it so much easier to work towards it. And that's something that I think our children are not being taught in the school system right now, is how to set a proper goal. It's like, hey, what do you want to achieve? Well, the teacher gave me these things I want to achieve. Okay, well, what's that going to do for you? Well, I don't know. The teacher said I had to do it. Okay, that's great, but it doesn't teach them the logical thought process or the creative thinking process to develop a goal and then reverse engineer what they need to do to accomplish that goal. And we need more of that true goal setting in our society. Otherwise, we just have a bunch of sheep who have no idea what they're doing. They're just bumbling around. Don't be a sheep, be a goat. They're more creative and adventurous anyways. Be an ornery goat.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. It is the final 30 minutes, and if everybody can keep their call to 1 to 2 minutes, we'll get through everyone on hold. Let's go back out to 347. What's going on, 347?
Hey, what's up, man? You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Well, I'm gonna make this quick. One thing I forgot to talk about the Idaho stabbing last week. Did you say anything about them saying that they're looking for a Rambo type knife? Did you say anything about that?
Say that part again?
They said they think they got stabbed by a Rambo knife. They say they got stabbed by a Rambo knife. That's what they were saying.
Yeah, your call's a little bit broken up tonight. Something night, but I can't make it out.
Rambo night. Rambo night.
Rambo night?
Yeah, Rambo night. That's what they said. They said they got stabbed with a Rambo knife.
I got to look into that part. I didn't know the part about Rambo night. Huh.
Yeah, and then my second point is about Christy Alley. Did you see her tweets about Ukraine and about the peas in Hollywood? She had a tweet about she don't know if the Ukraine war is real or what's fake, and she has another tweet about the pedophiles in Hollywood. And something like that. She wanted to expose the names of the stars and stuff. And when she said that, I think that was her last tweet, and I think that's when she probably got sick.
I didn't know that either. Interesting.
Yeah. So just check into those two for, if you got a chance. Check into those two for me. The Rambo Knight and Christy Alley too.
Okay.
All right, I'll give it to you next time.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, have a good night.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Let's see. 562, did I check in already? Okay, I think they were silent last time as well. Let's go out to 408. 408, you're wrong.
Hey, Zach. So I realize I am kind of, I guess, beating a dead horse here, but I did want to talk about Steinman Dan for a little bit.
Okay.
So something that he brought up that really griped me when he was talking about how you were cherry picking when talking about date durations. Like sometimes it's like days after the event, or sometimes it's like the span of days. So I'm going to say why you can choose both. So just a few examples. So say when you're running on a track, and if you're halfway through your fourth lap, you've run 3.5 miles, but we generally say that we're on our fourth lap. If like someone asks you how many laps have you run, you say we're on our fourth lap.
Right.
Second example, like currently I'm 25 years old, but I'm in my 26th year of life, but I say I'm 25 years old. And the third example, which I think Dan should probably understand the most, is he's from England, so I'm assuming his favorite sport is soccer, what they call football over there. And soccer, say, for example, a player scores in the 10th minute, there's 9 minutes on the clock.
Right.
So to me, those are examples of like how you can interchange the way you measure time or measure dates.
Right.
And I don't like it. To me, it seems that should be an easy concept to grasp. I don't really understand how people can see that that's cherry picking.
Exactly. And the thing is, we're looking at how it fell on one date that happened to be 129 days after Biden's birthday in a span of 129 days to Obama's. And it's the Emmett Till, which equals 129 anti-lynching bill, synced up with not only both of them, but Loretta Lynch. It's just to say that that's forcing it. It's just such a disingenuous argument. And if you don't think it's disingenuous, like I said, then you're a moron. Because it's only one or the other. You're either being disingenuous or you're too stupid to realize how bad of an argument you're making.
And I was also talking to someone in the comment section of his video, and they were saying like, oh, well, it's useless because there's so many ciphers and you're doing addition and subtraction and multiplication. And to me, I say they're like, well, like,
but right there, I just stop you.
like
I'm like, where do you
sports,
ever?
like,
But right there, people say stuff like that. I'm like, where do you ever see me doing subtraction or multiplication or division? Right. I'm pretty much just adding up letters.
I brought that up too, but also for the multiple ciphers claim, like for example in sports, like it would be to question how like why you use multiple ciphers, be questioning like why a basketball team or why a football team has multiple plays. Like it's like if they're gonna execute by a code, they're gonna have more than one option.
Not to mention, by knowing the multiple ciphers, it helps us out in sports games. I mean, there's nights where a team can fall to like 6-8 at home and become 9-4 for the season against Denver, which equals 68-94, and those riddles hit all the time. And so it's just like, yeah, right. all these things that people bring up are just the same tired, ignorant arguments. It's like, well, if you got familiar with the knowledge, you would see it's not BS. This is exactly what they're doing day in and day out. It's just like the point with Emmett Till. Emmett Till equals 129 forwards, 141 in reverse. What day is Loretta Lynch born? On the 141st day of the year. just how it all came together. So.
All right. Thanks, Zach. That's all I have to say tonight.
All right. Appreciate it, Evan. Have a good night. Shout out to Evan. He came out to Oklahoma City. What's up, 409?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, did you already do the volcano?
The one that they're saying is Pele's hair?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything beyond the Pele's hair part. So that's all I ever mentioned.
Oh, I actually wanted to ask about the volcano in Indonesia.
Oh, there's another volcano going on. Okay. I heard about the one in Hawaii. I didn't realize there was one in Indonesia as well.
They're pretty much going at pretty much the same time.
Okay. Mount Semeru.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can look into it. I didn't know about this one.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to see how they were related because they're going at pretty much the same time.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know. I'd have to look into it. So thanks for the heads up.
Oh, and what is 22? I keep seeing that everywhere.
The master builder number. We are in the year 22. Kind of like how the Celtics were in their 22nd championship this year.
And the shooter from Colorado was 22.
There's been a lot of 22-year-old shooters in the year 22. I'll tell you that much. It's just been a nonstop theme in the year 22. 22-year-old shooters by the numbers. So.
But I go hold you up. That's all I wanted.
All right. Yeah, I'll look into the volcano. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Take care. All right. Let's go out to Philadelphia. It's the man who's no longer an Eagles fan. What's up?
Never was.
Okay.
Fuck the Eagles and the fans.
Okay.
All right, real quick. I don't know how much you have covered about Kanye, but I've been going back and forth with some people about him sacrificing his mom.
Okay.
Now, I have pointed out some things like, to sacrifice means to give up. So when he said that my mom was sacrificed, it's okay. He didn't sacrifice his mom. They took his mom. If they took his mom, they took his mom. That's not a sacrifice unless he gives her up. So I don't get, he's just this guy that's just going on and everybody's loving him right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he's a puppet on strings. And again, it's like I keep pointing out, Kanye West equals 120 like Illuminati. 120 is the 15th triangular number. He says his mom got sacrificed on the 15-year anniversary of his death. And he keeps saying it just like that. My mom was sacrificed. He doesn't say anything else. My mom was sacrificed. What are you, a robot? Elaborate on that sentence. He just like that's all he needs to say. My mom was sacrificed. Okay, say more. What are you saying? Are you saying that you chose to have your mom sacrificed? Again, if you don't know, Larry Johnson, the former Kansas City Chief football player, he did this show, TFR, January 2020. And in that interview, he pointed out how he used to be around Kanye and Jay-Z a lot. And he was pretty sure that Kanye chose to have his mom sacrificed. So.
Yeah, I remember that. Do you still have that up?
Yeah, it's on Gematria Effect Sports. If you just go to that channel and search Larry Johnson, the interview's there.
Okay, I want to listen to that again because I actually shared that with some people, and some people, they're just one-track minded and short-minded. Their attention spans are short. So, but yeah, that was a good one. He didn't want to say for so much, but he knows. He knows, just like a lot of the other NFL player knows. And, speaking of the NFL, it's real fast that, I was talking to some people here yesterday about sports. They said, well, And I'd say, you notice how like the Eagles games, they're always like close. They're never getting blown out, home or away. They're always close. And I was talking to him about, sponsors and so on and so forth. And he said, well, and I was talking about how easy the schedule is again. And he said, well, who do you think make the schedules? And I said, honestly, I feel like the owners make the schedules. The owners' meetings, I think the owners' meetings are one of the things about the meetings of the schedule.
Sure. I mean, they got the schedules perfectly planned out for the rituals in their season. There's no doubt about that. So,
right. Two more things. Did you hear about the Bitcoin situation?
What's the latest?
Well, from what I heard last was that it just faltered. It's a lot of people lost a lot of money, and that the Federal Reserve stopped printing money.
Well,
I'm not sure if you heard about that.
Again, people in this community shouldn't have lost money because I told everybody when to get out a long time ago. And it was obvious that Bitcoin was a trap. And again, it's another thing where the value of it's controlled by a very small group of people. So, all the market, notice every market's being manipulated and kept down. I mean, there's not really a market right now that you can make money in. So every last thing is being manipulated and held low.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to ask you your expert opinion, or I will say facts. So how does sports tie into everything that's going on right now? Like what? I know that's asking for a lot.
Well, it's like here, since you brought up the NFL, we're coming into NFL Week 14, and who's number one in the AFC heading into Week 14? Buffalo, the same city that had the mass shooting on the 14th of May, where the shooter had the 14 words on the gun. And all year I've been talking about Buffalo and 14 and how they're doing a ritual with that team and the number 14 like every single week. Again, the sports and the news are all scripted together because the same Jesuits run the whole show, from the sports leagues to the Oval Office to the news. And they're the ones writing the scripts. Appreciate it, Philadelphia. I am running out of show, though, and I got a bunch of people still on hold, but I am glad you're phoning back in. So, yeah, check out that Larry Johnson interview. It's on the Gematria Effect Sports channel.
Yeah, I'm going to that ASAP.
All right. Have a good night, man. Thank you.
But you too, man.
Okay. Steven in Texas. What's up, Steven?
Hey, Zachy. How are you? I promise I won't be too crazy tonight. Funny, fake news. I put this on Facebook. A man was having sex with a dog at a Christmas nativity scene. His name is Chad Mason. Of course, I Googled, I did Gematria. Chad Mason equals 33.
Of course.
Now, we know this news story is bullshit. But we know it more bullshit because we can do Gematria. And also the fact that the man's last name is Mason. So anyway, I was wondering, have you ever heard back from that nice lady that was a Canadian rapper? Remember her? And she was got a contract, and the music that they wanted her to sing had a bunch of Gematria and Mason Ritualistic. Remember her calling in?
I do, and there was some drama with somebody else in the community. Just like there's a whole bunch of people. Like she's one of the people. It's funny. Like almost everybody who's on that video that was. I don't even know where all these people came from at once, but like two of them were musicians. But everybody who did like that happy birthday video for me in 2021, like everybody on that video hates me now. And there was like drama between all of them. Oh yeah, they're like all online talking mad. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know why they all hate me now, but
video.
Yeah, they like felt like I just don't have time for all this drama. But yeah, somehow, some way that she got mad at me. So I don't know.
Oh, that's unfortunate because, I didn't know all about this. Well, F her then if she got her panties in a wad, you know. Anyway, I will not hold up the line. Zach, you have a wonderful night, and God bless everything you do.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Stephen. All right, let's go out to Ohio, 330.
Hello.
Hello, you're on.
Oh, my bad. I just heard it come through. What's going on, Zach? I'm going to make it quick. So there's a YouTube channel. The guy is supposedly a pickup artist, dating coach. Turns out that he's a fraternal brother of Kevin Samuels, the guy that got killed by the numbers, who YouTube allowed his channel to expand. He's an author first and foremost, and he wrote a book called Mode 1. More or less, he's a part of the same fraternity as Kevin. They were at within the house together at the same time, but he died November 28th. He was born on March 3rd. So, of course, 3/3 birthday. It's 271 days later he dies. 271 is the 58th prime number. His book, Mode 1, has an overlap with Catholic going forward 71 and reduction 35. His name, short name was ARC for Alan Roger Curry, which is 59 in reverse. He died at age 59. So it's kind of crazy that this guy with a real small YouTube channel, not the most well-known author, I guess he just taught dudes how to talk dirty to women or some shit like that. But I found it interesting that he's a fraternal brother of Kevin Samuels, gets sacrificed by the numbers.
He died on the Beast Day then, 11/28, the Beast Day. Kevin Samuels' death had a lot to do with Number of the Beast as well. So then this guy also dies on the Beast date. Okay.
Yeah, so you have Mason. He was born on the March 3rd, so that's 62 days after the year starts. Mason equals 62. He dies with 33 days left in the year on 11/28. And then to have the overlap with his book Mode 1 and Catholic, to have the overlap with his short name ARC and, the Black Ritualistic Mocking number 59, I found it pretty interesting. But if there's any more connections, I'm sure. But his name in full reduction, his full name, Alan Roger Curry, equals 84, Jesuit equals 84. So it's just kind of crazy how small this guy's YouTube channel is. And the shitty part is he was a bachelor the majority of his life, and he just finally got married, just finally settled down. And this guy's got a 2-year-old son, and they had to sacrifice him. So I think it's pretty sad.
Yeah, I'll look more into that as well. That is too bad. Thank you for the heads up.
And he also spoke at this convention called the 21 Convention with 21 studios last year, right before he dies. So I find it also very interesting.
Yeah, another big Jesuit number. All right, I'll look more into it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. All right, from Canton to Cincinnati. What's going on, Cincinnati? Cincinnati.
Yes, sir.
You're on.
I'm not going to be too long. Hello, my name is Cortez Baker Smith.
Thank you for calling, Cortez.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
I can hear you,
Can
yeah.
you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
So the line was going in and out. I have something I want to run by you real quick, sir.
Okay.
I've been waiting to call because I wanted to get the results from yesterday before I called. You know how right now in the U.S. Senate, there's 51. I mean, in the U.S. Senate right now presently, there are 51 Democrats. I mean, there are 51 Democrats in the U.S. Senate, and there's 49. Now there's 51 Democrats. 51 Democrats and 49
Republicans.
GOP members
Right.
in the Senate now.
Right.
You know how on yesterday when the last race that was called, and it's so suspicious. It's so odd to me that on yesterday, what's his name?
Warnock beat
Raphael Warnock.
Yeah, Warnock over Walker. W's.
He won. They called it. They called it exactly. He had 51. He was 51%, and Herschel Walker was at 49%. And it's so funny to me that they called that how the numbers lined up to the. It linked up to what the number. You know, it synced up to the numbers that Raphael's a Democrat. You know, he won with 51%.
Right.
In the 51 Democrats in the seat now, and Herschel Walker,
I follow. And again, just so Bill know, in Gematria, federal equals 51 and Washington equals 49. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. 51% of the vote to 49% of the vote. Yeah, I get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, it's. I was waiting. I've been waiting. I was going to call in right after the midterms last month, but I said I'm going to have to wait till everything, the results have concluded and the results have been finalized before I made my call.
Sure.
I knew that was going to happen once they said because last month, I think that Herschel Walker was at I think he was at 48% last month, and Raphael Warnock was at 49%. And I said once they said they would have to make they had to go to a runoff, I knew that the runoff was going to be coded to whatever they was going to do. It was going to be synced up to whatever the judge would. It was going to be synced up. The numbers and the gematria was going to be linked up to whatever the current seating is in the Senate.
Yeah, good instinct. Friend, I really appreciate the call and the observation. I'm going to let a couple more people get in before we run out of show, but thank you. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, I appreciate it, my brother.
Yeah.
Much love.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go out to Missouri. We're almost out of show. Missouri, you're on.
Yo, what's the word, Zach?
What's up?
You can hear me?
I hear you.
Oh no, shit, I ain't want much. I was just trying to chime in on that Simon Dan shit. So
okay.
I had got in some heated exchanges with some of the top comments, and Zach, man, stop wasting your time with these people, man. I don't even see why you. I know it's hard to not let it get to you, but like both of the dudes I got into, they willingly admitted they got their jabs, and it's just like these are the type of people you run into, I'm arguing with them. As soon as they told me that, I'm just like what's the point? So
yeah,
that's it, man. Just keep your head up, man. I don't see how you do it, man, but man, you're a strong dude, man. 'Cause, I called in a while back, ranting about, how I be out here trying to confront people and wake people up, but it is discouraging sometimes, but I still do it, but yeah, man, I just wanted to let you know, man, these dudes is fools, man.
Indeed.
They jabbed up and, it don't even make sense for real, but
yeah.
Yeah, man, just keep your head up, man. That's all I wanted to let you know, man.
Well, I appreciate that.
I didn't even know if I was going to make it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, friend. You have a good night.
Yep.
And again, the reason I address somebody like that is that he supposedly has 500,000 followers, even though it seems like there's a lot of bot AI accounts he has. But again, I'm trying to reach those 500,000 people. We'll be back next week. All right, that is the end of the show. And I did say I'd say thank you to all the super chatters before I signed off tonight. Let me... Shark made up half the super chats tonight, Mr. Generous. But he said he won $400 tonight off the Gematria knowledge, so congrats to Shark. plugged in the numbers 119 on Pearl Harbor Day because he knew 9/11 was the new Pearl Harbor. And congrats to him. But Amy, too, at cracktheircode.org, she made the point about how the young man, the youngest black mayor in U.S. history, was elected 47 days before his birthday. The Shark, again, he said, this evening's win 3 lottery numbers in New York were 119. I played 9/11 boxed and hit for 400 due to the building's 127 info you shared. Proof in real time, Gematria is the truth. Thank you, teacher Zach. Shark also chipped in 5 and said, a little something for your LA Truth Workshop. I might meet you there if I can schedule it. Thank you. Again, you guys, I will go to LA later this year in the summer. And Allie, who came out to Seattle, she's been in the UK through all the pandemic. She's going to come to the U.S. She wants to get a bunch of the truth seekers to get together. She wants Derek, Chigozi, everybody else who can come out. And she's thinking West Coast, a big city like LA. So definitely going to go to that, when that event is set. And I'm thinking around Kobe Bryant Day might be a good time. But yeah, there will be a trip to LA later this year. I would like to go there January 26th, and I said I would do it if we can get the Patreon support back up to what it was at the beginning of the year. And for people who don't like that approach, again, I did a lot this year, and support went way down, which is depressing. Again, we're trying to build the movement and take it to the next level, and it's going to take resources. I might have a change of heart and just end up going on the anniversary anyway because I want to, because it doesn't look like we're going to reach 6,000. We're not even at 5,000 subscribers. Subscribers are down since I asked for it to go up. So, but yeah, appreciate you, Shark. And if I do go out there, I think I'll look for paying for your flight. Let's go out to Natural Law and the Occult. They chipped in $20 and said, Zach, thanks for all the work you do. We met at NYC with my wife. Just wanted to show some support and let everyone know to like and share my page. Spread info on natural law to end this evil system. Thanks, truth seekers. And also shout out to Divine Line, who chipped in another $5. He said, thank you for all the hard work. You're welcome. Thank you for all the support. And let's get up this channel here, Natural Law in the Occult. Natural Law in the Occult. Let's see. We're going to have to sort by channel. That is the one right there. That's what I saw in the avatar. All right, so you got to type in Natural Law in the Occult, sort by channel. And it's the one that is black and white, got the sword in one hand, the scales in the other. The welcome video has the truth. It's like a kaleidoscope. And looks like they just launched their channel. They just climbed from 5 subscribers to 6. I just saw it. So, we also have a DK Stonewood sighting. What's up, DK?
Hey, what's up, Zach? What's going on tonight?
Just doing the show. What's up?
Happy Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah, it's also my sister's birthday today.
What's the gematria of McCollum memo?
What is it? McCollum memo?
The McCollum memo. That's like the biggest thing about the Pearl Harbor psyop. They sent a memo like the week before saying, hey, there's going to be, it was like a drill, there's going to be like, Japanese planes coming in and this and that. You never heard of that?
I think I did not know that before, but here, I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, the McCollum.
October 7th, Putin's birthday, the day we invaded Afghanistan. The McCollum.
Yeah, so they got what was the date on it?
October 7th, so 2 months before Pearl Harbor.
So 2 months before. What did I say? I said a few days, yeah. So anyway, there was this, just like how they have exercises, like, you know, they were having exercises about what planes flying around for 9/11 and something like that. I mean, it's just, you know, that was the one for the Pearl Harbor psyop, and they took a bunch of the people that were on, like the Navy guys that were working, they sent them all like on leave and stuff like that. And what I heard is they left a black, like a ship or an area with a lot of blacks working. They left them there so they would get the brunt of it instead. I got to look back into that, but.
Yeah, I actually don't think I ever knew about this before, but yeah, what a day. October 7th, Military 107. Interesting.
Yeah. You remember last week, I was talking, I mentioned something that I think it was, The Matrix was talking about the Truth Seeker cafes, and that was like already maybe week-old information, and I mentioned it last week on the show that, that'd be great, open up a Truth Seeker cafe, one in each main town, where everybody knows your name and everyone's always glad you came, and then like 2 days later, Kirstie Alley died. What is that all about, huh?
Yeah, true. Yeah, that is funny. By the way, McCollum memo equals Pearl Harbor equals World War.
Told you. That's how funny is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me go to my notes real quick. I got a couple decodes. And then I want to talk ask you a couple questions about health, because I think I may have uncovered something. Okay, so Rambo was talking about the dude on the Netherlands, Memphis, with all the lions and everything.
Right.
And it was associated to a lion being the king of the jungle, and associated to Martin Luther King. Well, Memphis is the old capital of Egypt. It's now called Cairo. Actually, Memphis is like 12 miles beneath Cairo, but you know what I mean? It's like literally it's kind of the same thing. It just moved it over slightly on better land that they could build. So the old capital of Egypt is Memphis, and it's known for what? A lion. You know, the Sphinx. The Sphinx is like 60,000 years old. The pyramids are like 25,000 years old. So that Sphinx has been there for 3 times, basically almost as long as those pyramids. And it first just started as a head, and then they carved out like the body, and it was carved out in like 4 or 5 different kind of, or should I say, not necessarily carved, but technology used to do what we call carving. Then there's a temple underneath that, and everything that was all built way before the pyramid. So anyway, that's why Memphis is known as for the lion. And then what else? Oh, he was talking about 3 kings, and then like Adidas is known as the 3 kings brand, or the 3 stripes. And then they also, like, for the horse races, most of the kings, these evil kings that, for every empire, they were basically going around taking everything over, mostly with horses, So then when you get the horse race called the Triple Crown, the 3 kings. I mentioned this before. I remember maybe like a month ago or something. I don't know if you remember. But this is also why, the crowns, they actually have like a trident on them. If you look in the middle, it's got like the cross if it's the king, and then it curves down, and then there's 2 points on the outside, and then like the rest of the ornamentation around the crown or going around the back, but it's always got like 3 prongs up on the front. What else did I want to say? Oh, also the Atlas, he was talking about Atlas was the king of Atlantis. Atlas actually comes from the planet Atlas and the Pleiades. And D26 one time he was mentioning something about these 7 sisters that were daughters of. Anyway, the 7 sisters is the 7 stars of the Pleiades are referred to, the 7 sisters. So that's where that allegorical story came from. It's actually astrological, and then they kind of turn them into like a story for us on Earth, where it's actually like people, but I highly doubt there was actually a guy named Atlas, like one individual guy. from what the story I hear is 200 of these 200 were brought from the planet Atlas here to protect humanity, and then later got falsely relabeled fallen angels, the 200 fallen angels, but they came sent here to basically help humanity with a problem that humanity had with beings that were much larger than humanity. So the biggest humans were sent over here, which were the Atlans from Atlas. So that's where you get like that mythological Greek god who was really strong, Atlas, who could basically hold up the world. I think they have a statue in or somewhere in Vegas, I don't know, of Atlas where he's holding up the world. Maybe I think it's from Planet Hollywood, maybe. What else? Okay, so then he was talking about the World Cup. I already talked about that Memphis guy on the Netherlands team, but he was talking about the World Cup and how it's going to be played on a Sunday and all that. Well, Catholics have their black magic mass, on Sunday in the morning, and then at the end of the mass, what happens? They drink the blood out of the golden cup, so you got the World Cup, the Stanley Cup, you got the Lombardi trophy, the Naismith trophy, and then the winners drink out of the cup afterwards, so after the ritual's over, at the end of the ritual, when all the people's energy is being siphoned in the big satellite dish called the stadium, then, they christen the ritual, with drinking from the cup. So, that's just like basically, and the game's going to be, why the World Cup, the finals, in the morning. Why would it be in the morning? It's kind of weird. Sometimes they do that in the NBA too. It's way early game when normally they're in the afternoon. So everybody could be home from work and watching it, but then they'll have it at noon or something. The World Cup, I don't know, it's probably gonna be at 9-10 in the morning on Sunday, of course. So, that's Catholic Mass. So watching the World Cup final will be like going to Catholic Mass. They'll be collecting all the energy. And I find it funny. We got all these guys lately being used. Croatia, we got 4 million people, but then you got the main guy on the United States team is Pulisic, he's Croatian. Usually half the Australian national team's Croatian. A couple guys on Canada. Then our whole Croatian national team. Then the 2-time reigning MVP right now, Jokic, and the best skilled player, Doncic. I don't know why they're using so many Croatian players and all this stuff right now. Seems like, we always do good in sports, but it's I don't know, a lot of key players right now for some reason in history. I don't know why they're doing this. Let me ask you a question. I'm kind of done with my decodes. Let me ask you a question now. I'm going to want to ask a little bit about health. When did you start drinking tea regularly? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I've drinking tea for a while.
Do you remember when your tinnitus started?
Oh, my tinnitus started way before I started drinking tea.
Oh, really? Okay. Because I was just looking up, some stuff for some people about being lacking trace minerals and stuff, what kind of stuff it could cause, and then I remembered that low potassium is one of the things that causes tinnitus, and potassium is also associated with the amount of magnesium you have. You need the magnesium to uptake the potassium. I think it's a 1-to-3 ratio or something. So, but these trace minerals, like I talked about before, when you drink tea, it pulls out your minerals, that's why they bind to the metals and stuff. They also pull out your minerals. So that potentially could be, one of the causes. And before I told you, probably for you, most likely it's because of you're sensitive to EMF. People who are really smart and awake are usually very sensitive to EMF compared to the rest of the people. And then, you get around a lot of that working on the computer, and you're not grounding, you live in cold weather. You're not walking around barefoot everywhere. So, that's what I thought it was before. You should probably, figure out, maybe keep shungite on you at all times and start trying to ground. But then I thought of, hey, you're not a poor guy. You could probably afford it. Have you looked into the grounding mats that you put on the top of your bed? It's like a bed topper. some of them could get crazy expensive. Like the top magneticals are like $8,000. But they have little magnets all placed within the, so you're grounding while you sleep. There was a guy that when grounding kind of became like it hit the internet and was going nuts on the internet, probably 5-7 years ago. So there was the story of this old man who he was like, I forgot, like 100 or 102 or something. They're like, how do you stay so healthy? He's like, well, I ground every night. I make sure that my feet are connected to the ground. They're like, what do you mean? You sleep outside? Because he lived in some super cold weather. And then he's like, no, he had an iron stake in the ground down in the dirt, like in his yard. And then he had a copper wire tied around it, like a super thin copper wire that went, along the dirt up against the side of his house, up into his second story window. And it was tied around his big toe every night when he sleeps. So he just had that wire tied to his bed, and then he would tie it to his big toe so he could ground all night while he was sleeping. Same principle the Native American Indians use by, they don't put anything on the ground in their teepees. And like, if you were like sick and you come into one of those, they were kind of famous, like the Amish, for people coming in with, healing them with, tinctures and stuff like that. And the first thing I'll tell you when you come over there for them to heal you, be like, you got to take your shoes off. You're never going to get well. So, I hear somebody here saying there are grounding sheets. Yeah, they're grounding sheets too, but it's better to have it like under you. So I guess it would be the flat sheet. That's Mojave Pocahontas. I'm responding to her comment. But yeah, anyway, I was going to recommend that to you. You should I'm pretty sure you're not getting much grounding, especially with the weather over there. So, I mean, the last time your bare feet touched the bare ground somewhere where it's not like a foundation and, where it's actually the earth, who knows when. I mean, I don't know. It could have been just today, but for the most part, when you go out and work in your yard and all that, I don't know if you're not walking around barefoot, So I would recommend for you grounding, see if maybe that would take your tinnitus out. Anyway, that's about it for tonight. I got some other stuff to say, but it's a little bit long.
Yeah, I've tried so many things to get rid of my tinnitus, and so far I haven't found out the remedy. But I always think if it stopped, I might be weirded out if it stopped because I'm so used to the ringing in my ear now. But yeah, it actually would be nice to get rid of it. So
you want me to tell you something? You may be right on that, because like I sleep every night like with like sounds of the ocean or rain or like whale songs, like not loud, but it's on, and plus there's like a fan on, so like there's some ambient noise going on. And then like if I sleep over like a friend's house or something like that, and they're used to just sleeping like just dead quiet for a minute before I fall asleep, I'm like, this is weird, I can't fall asleep now. Like, you know what I mean? Like I need some like something. So you may, like, I'm so used to it, and then for you, you're so used to the ringing, if it were to turn off, you'd be like looking around everywhere, kind of paranoid, like what's going on.
Indeed.
That is pretty funny.
Indeed.
Anyway.
All right, DK. Well, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right, yeah. Yeah, take care.
Okay, bye.
See you. All right. Shout out to Clean Preps, who chipped in $1 on the Cash App, and Carrick Moses, who chipped in $5 on the Cash App, and Ezra, who chipped in $5 on the Venmo. I appreciate that. And I do believe we said thank you to all the super chats. You know what's funny? $51 in super chats tonight, and it is my sister's 51st birthday. And yeah, I was just thinking it's too bad that, I can't remember the last time my sister was at my birthday. I can't remember the last time I was at her birthday. I'll tell you what, it wasn't in the last 10 years. My sister, man, she's become a hater ever since I found this information. But all right. I think we'll leave it there for tonight. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. And thank you to Charm One. She's linking the other truth seekers in the community. Appreciate that, Charm One. All right, you guys. Have a good rest of your evening. If you're in the other part of the world. Oh, hold on. We got one more call here. I think it's the young one.
Zach, I forgot something important. So if you go to the GematriaEffectNews site, I put a post up, and it's a screenshot of CNN. And it was up for a while. It was up all Wednesday night, but it's past 12 o'clock over here for me. So now it's already tomorrow. But all those top stories were all about shootings on Wednesday. So maybe something to post for your site, but. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. I hope you have a good night.
All right, thanks, man. Take care.
Bye.
See you. Okie dokie. All right. All right, you guys. Yeah, have a good rest of your night, and if you're in the other part of the world, have a good rest of your day. And yeah, I kind of wish all the people that used to be good supporters that have turned into mega haters. If you guys go to like that, if you guys know the number one troll I have, his whole channel is dedicated to trolling me. If you look in his comments, you're like, oh my God, all the people that used to hang out in this channel and leave helpful comments, they're all over there hating now. It's just like, what happened to all these people? You know? Somebody warned me that there was a woman that was hanging around this community, and they said that they thought that she was some kind of agent, some kind of instigator. And I know that a lot of the people that used to be good supporters are like people that she got their phone numbers and started communicating with them. I don't want to spread too much drama, but she did come out to Yakima while I was living out there and asked me to meet her, and she asked if I could bring her some hoodies and some books because she had people to give them to. And, I still remember that day because I gave her a whole bunch of stuff for free, and then she wanted a drink, but it was it was a Sunday, and I still had to do my football live stream that day, and I didn't feel like drinking. And or it was probably actually a Saturday because that's when I do the football live stream. So it was a Saturday, not a Sunday. But I just remember it's just, she wanted to drink real bad, and I did not want to get any drinks, but she kept insisting, and I said, okay, I'll have a drink. She asked the waitress if they had this certain kind of alcohol, and I didn't know what it was, but she ended up like ordering like 4 shots, and it was almost $100 per shot, and I had no idea. So then when I got the bill, I couldn't believe how big the bill was. And I was like, man, she asked for all these books, hoodies. I brought her all this stuff for free, and then she brings up this huge alcohol bill on me when I didn't even want to drink. And now she's like been like talking to all these people. So it's just like, God, people, man. But anyway, it seems like she did a number because everyone that she was instigating with seems to all be hanging out on that page now talking. And it's just like, God, it is sad. So I'm not even going to say who it is, but yeah, those are all facts. That is the real story. And anyway. Yeah, so anyway, it's just like, God, man, it's just, what are you going to do? All right, well, I'm glad all of you are still here, and they didn't turn you against me also. So anyway, we'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. And